Okay, I have this theory, and this started back about 11 years ago when the Flames were in the playoff games. Every time I watched it, they lost, it felt like. Like, I don't think I've ever seen them win a game. And the main reason for this being is that, like, back in those days when I was, like, super into hockey, I stopped watching the Flames games completely because I thought I was bad luck with, like, you know, like sports traditions and stuff, right?
Sport superstition now.
Yeah, so
it's like, oh, I gotta wear my lucky moldy old jersey from '89. It's enchanted.
I mean, like, my thing was I can't watch the game because when I watch, that's when they stop winning. And, like,
so you watched Game 6 then, huh? Man,
I did.
Should've done
I
that.
actually
yeah,
did.
I know. So did I. But yeah.
This theory wasn't even just because, like, oh, every game I watched, they lost. It's because there were a few times where I heard they were doing well, and then when I flipped it on the channel, within, like, 5 minutes or whatever of the period, they would lose their lead. Like, and okay. So this leads up to what happened the other night, is that I was at work, and the Flames were playing, and I was just like, I don't even want to know. I just don't even want to know. And then I cracked because it was boring. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to Google this and see, like, what's happening. Holy shit, they're up, like, 4-2. Like, 4 points to 2. Awesome. We might actually not get swept, which was, like, my goal for them.
Yeah.
Because I knew they weren't going to beat the Ducks. I just didn't want them to get swept.
You're not going to win, but just don't lose badly. So
Yeah. So that was my goal, and I was just like, sweet.
5 minutes later.
Yeah, and then I go home, and they lost in overtime, like 5-4 or something. And I was just like, the curse, it's back.
Should have just, I don't know. Too bad work was boring, I guess. Too bad nothing bad happens.
Yeah, too bad nothing bad happened at the international airport. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Then our hockey team would have won a game.
That being said, I didn't at all pay attention to what happened tonight until I saw in Discord somebody say, well, they got swept, that's it. So I had no idea tonight. So, like, maybe the curse is broken and I can watch them next season. But I guess
Canadian hopes now lie with the Senators, I guess. Like, there's a couple other teams that are in it still, but they're leading their series pretty strongly against the Bruins, I guess. So, I don't know. That said, I'm not, like, actually pulled into the vortex of real watching hockey. I've just been pulled into general positive feelings about hockey. So, it hasn't manifested in turning on the television and watching actual sportsmen.
How do you feel about Toronto, like...
It's nice, I guess, just because of the
people that
sad legacy. Yeah. I guess they made it first round a couple times in the last, like, 15 years.
Sure.
Like, twice, maybe. But yeah, there's giant, like, did not qualify, like, forever. So, yeah, getting a little bit of that, like, glory
literally
back.
Forever.
Like a century? Like, they're one of the oldest teams, and I guess they were, like, the Kings in the 60s. Like, they were the best, not the LA Kings. They were just really good.
Right. Fuck the LA
which
Kings.
Didn't exist anyway. Yeah. But,
yeah.
It's been some decades of nothing special happening there. I think they still, despite not having won anything in forever, are tied for second most Stanley Cups of all time at 11. I was just looking at these stats recently as part of this new hockey, like, interest. Maybe it's the playoff fever, you know? Sure. I got infected. I went to Edmonton at the wrong time.
I mean, it's the zeitgeist.
Someone sneezed or something. Yeah. It's a bit of that.
You know what bums me out, too, about the Flames getting swept is that means that the Ducks are officially the first team to be in the next round. Like, we allowed that to happen.
Why do you specifically hate the Ducks so much? Is it because they beat up Calgary routinely? Or is it like, man, D3 sucked and no one talks about it, okay? Like, Estevez was barely in it. It's a bullshit movie. Like, is it something like that? Is it old beef?
No, it's just because of that, like, we're the reason why a team made it first to the next round. Like...
This year.
That's what I mean.
But you seem to have some, like... oh, they're soulless down there in Anaheim. They don't care or something. It was like, oh, okay, I don't know.
I mean, out of the teams I hate, they're not high on the list. Honestly,
Okay.
Anaheim. Like, the highest on the
So
list...
Blackhawks you hate more?
Yes, I do.
Because they're... Okay.
The Oilers
Just
are
'cause
like the ones I hate the most, and that's mainly because I just can't stand that city when the Oilers are playing, because it's just like the most repugnant thing. I hate that place when the Oilers are playing. It's so
A lot
annoying.
of drunken yelling, or...
I guess, I don't know. They're just like stupid and belligerent about a dynasty they had like 100 years ago that nobody cares about because one good player decided to play for them for a while. Like,
I kind of was looking at that. I guess they won one cup post Gretzky, so they have that
sure.
to feel good about.
I mean,
Like
a lot of teams
1990, I
have
think it
won
was.
cups without Gretzky, but Gretzky was like a game changer for so many teams. It's hard to look at the Oilers and say,
Discount it.
yeah, you guys are like good. It's like, oh no, you guys got carried for a while until you became okay. Like,
Right.
by
Well,
one of the
sure. Like
best in
the dynasty part of it, like one Stanley Cup's pretty good. That's all we've ever had. But 5 is like 4 of those are Gretzky. So
well, that's what I mean.
don't know.
Like, Gretzky, I don't know. It's one of those things that it's like you're proud of the fact that your team had one dude play for it for a while. It's essentially like that.
Like, hey, that was a good draft acquisition or whatever.
And
like,
honestly, they're
it
not
worked
the only
out.
ones. Like, the Kings are the same way. That's why they're douchebags, too. But, whatever. Americans are douchebags.
Anyway,
in general.
I guess the reason I'm talking about all of this anyway is I finally got back into the world of hockey video games.
Yeah.
Like, I've been playing a lot of NHL 11, and I can explain if I need to why that's the one I went with, but
No, you don't have
yeah,
to. It's obvious.
yeah, Metacritic 88. It's the best one. It's the best one they ever made. Everybody knows that.
Is there not one with a higher Metacritic than that?
I don't not of like the last 6-7 years anyway. Like the newest ones are in like the high 70s, except 15, which I guess was terrible. But it's like the first on next gen, so they always kind of neuter a bunch of features. It just seems to be the arc of sports games, right? Mm-hmm. Like towards the end of a generation, they have like tons of modes and all sorts of great stuff, and at the beginning of the next generation, they have to pare it back down because they're on Frostbite 2 or whatever, and reset. So I guess 16 was pretty good, and 17 is by all accounts okay.
Who was the cover for 11?
Oh man, it's across the room here.
Oh, okay.
I couldn't tell you. That is not a meaningful thing to me.
I'm just
so
curious. Who
is there a
would
curse for NHL as well? Because there's the Madden curse.
I don't
that
think
people talk
so.
about.
I was just more curious as to like who the big shot was for the league in 2011. Oh, right. Okay, it was Jonathan Taves. That makes sense. Okay.
I don't know when they introduced it, but I'm really enjoying the Be a Pro mode, which I guess has been a part of it for a long time. Have you played like hockey games?
Yeah.
In the last 7 years?
Yeah,
Okay.
actually, keep talking for a second. I'll go to my closet and tell you which one is the one I played the most of.
Okay. But yeah, the Be a Pro mode, I guess it's been around for a while, but you get to just make a player and be that guy during a season, so, or however long, like a career of hockey. Which, you do get you're sitting on the bench right now, you're not doing anything, which I guess isn't the most fun thing in the world, but you might want to break partway through the game. Which has gotten me in trouble a couple times where I'll, like, go across the room to get a coffee or something, and then be like, oh crap, and, like, run back to the couch, because my line is on now. But
It's been a while since the one I was into was NHL 08.
Okay. I think they still had, like, the right stick puck handling stuff, like stick handling.
I'm pretty sure that's
that
when
point,
it
right?
happened.
Okay.
Yeah, so...
Because, there was a while where the 2K series of sports games were considered the best thing going on, but then there was a tide shift where, EA's control schemes were, like, just innovative and cool, and everyone really liked it. So I think the critical tide maybe turned in 07, 08.
Yeah.
So
on the back
that
of the
makes sense,
box
I guess.
here, features: control the puck like never before with improved stick handling, passing, and shooting accuracy, plus new player-specific moves. I think this is around when they introduced like a lot of overhaul to that.
I generally dig that control scheme for shooting and like just that kind of stuff, but for body checking, I kind of hate it.
Sure.
But I'm a power forward, so I'm supposed to be decking people a lot. And I don't know. There's times where I'm just like, I really just need to get really lucky with how I line up with a guy in order to do this at all. And I'm being graded on how much like hits I'm getting per game and stuff. So, but I kind of love that they have these like kind of mini goals for you to focus on. So even if like I got drafted by the Washington Capitals. So Ovechkin is the guy. He's like the guy, right? That's a guy. I've heard that guy's name.
That's a guy. You got it.
Yeah, he's a real guy. He's the captain of our team. He's okay. I don't know. It's been kind of fun just being like involved in this kind of, this is a real thing that real people do. It's almost like a weird simulator or something, like traveling around doing playing some hockey. But it's way pared down. It's all menu driven stuff. It's not like, I remember the NFL game I got way into had a kind of dopey but kind of great like pad or whatever. Like you'd go back to like the clubhouse and like you could buy Detroit Lions couches or something, like just stuff like this, deck out this area.
So dumb.
Trophies you'd win and stuff would go there. Whereas like this is all, hey, you unlocked a boost for your player so you can equip this puck and you'll get a status boost for endurance or something. It's like, okay. I will say I kind of forgot how EA is so weirdly ruthless about their online services with sports games. Like they just drop support to move everybody along. Like, so this is a 6 or 7 year old game. So as soon as you load it up, it's just like, there's no longer server support for this game. Thanks for playing. Yeah. Oh, right. I guess that makes sense. It's been a while. Well, because it's PSN and, it's free online.
Have 6 other fucking games to sell you.
But I don't want those.
It doesn't matter. Because what you want doesn't matter in the games of EA Sports. Yeah.
I mean, it's the same thing I was saying, like, I think it was last week about they don't want you to buy The Sims, they want you to buy The Sims 4 or whatever the new one is. Yeah. It's a similar mindset of just like, no, get the new one. It's like, but what if I want to keep the dream of the Atlanta Thrashers alive forever and just have them exist? Why can't I do that in 2011?
You can.
Like, also, this game came out in 2010, year of the game. So it was part of that. Apparently, I just didn't look at it. Yeah, year of the video game when it finally all came together.
The year of the
Everybody universally acknowledges 2010 as the year video games got good.
It probably was close to that. Like, I think
it's a big year. We've gone over it a couple times.
Yeah, we've gone over a couple times. There's like a few standout years. That's definitely one of them.
Yeah. That one had a cool advantage of, I feel like they spanned the whole year. Like January first week, you got some big stuff. I think it was Darksiders and Bayonetta.
Yeah,
and it just kind of carried forward throughout the year. Like every month or two, you'd get something really cool.
Yeah.
So
this year was going similarly, except for a few weeks here and there.
Oh no, yeah, like the March-April period. I guess March really was a big wave of big stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was there something in February, like, if people were really keen about?
February? I mean, yeah, that's when Horizon Near?
Oh, late February.
That's like early February, I think, was pretty dry this year.
But, yeah, okay, so last week of February through March was pretty big stuff. And, yeah, and I'm definitely curious about some of those. But anyway, couch hockey. I have no strong feelings about the Washington Capitals, or I didn't before I played for them. But it's kind of cool.
For them?
Yeah, I got drafted. Sentence. It's like, hey, you guys accepted me. Yeah. I played for the Calgary Hitmen, and then, I simulated the 4th game in the Memorial Cup, which I shouldn't have done because my stats were way worse after that, and I was second round after I did that.
Oh, yeah.
I was probably on track to be first, which is a trophy in the game. But well, it doesn't matter. Yeah, I can roll a new character.
Yeah, but
and play 4 games if I really want to.
You could have just done it that time.
I mean, I don't know how much hockey I'm gonna play because I'm signed for a 3-year contract with the Capitals, and I don't know that I want to play that much video game hockey. But I'll do a season and see how I feel. Yeah, I know. I can't get out of it. Like, unless I play really badly on purpose and they trade me to Phoenix or something.
This is
we'll see what
literally what happens to real athletes. It's like
they
realize that their team is going in the shitter, so they're just going to play like shit and hope to get traded.
I kind of like that stuff because, like, it'll be after a game, there'll be a little note. It's like, hey, the GM wants to see you. It's like, oh, shit. And it's just like, hey, you've actually been doing really well. You're getting promoted to the second line. Oh, sweet. And then I started totally dogging it for like 4 games. And it's like, hey, we need to be more consistent. You're back on the third line. Like just this little, I don't know, role playing, I guess, that's going on with hockey. It's been pretty fun.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know how dramatically the game has changed in the intervening like 6-7 years. I guess you can play as a goalie now and it's pretty good.
Okay.
Seems to be some of the recent features that have been happening, but
that seems like something they should have had a long time ago, but sure.
Yeah, I like goalies, so make that gameplay fun.
Yeah.
It's the most different role on the ice, so yeah, it's a little weird.
Maybe that's why.
I guess that they finally
because
looked
they
at
would
it.
have actually had to like deviate from
really
the engine that they created
systems
and like try a new thing.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But I guess they finally got around to doing that.
Cool.
But
how do you feel about old hockey games? The good old hockey games.
Like SNES era or like
the
Blades
best games
Steel?
you can name. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, Blades of Steel is one. Because it also has like a weird space shooter minigame in it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Blades of Steel is so good.
Yeah.
Ice hockey for the NES is so good because you can create skinny players that are fast but easy to take out, medium players that are average, and fat players that can do like knuckle pucks basically from across the rink and usually are pretty accurate, but they're slow as hell. But man, if you have a skinny player, you don't want one of those big players near you, you know?
That's weird. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if I played that one. The one I had in the SNES era was like NHL PA 93. For some reason, they acknowledged the Players Association in the title.
Weird.
But I really like that game but also kind of because of an exploit I found.
Okay.
Where you can skate behind the net whenever like the goal you're trying to score on is at the bottom of the screen.
Yeah.
If you skate behind from left to right, the goalie will always get stuck, and you can just get a free goal. So that's how I won the Stanley Cup in that game.
We talked about this, actually, I think.
Yeah. No, it's like, once I discovered that, like myself, it just happened enough times that I was like, wait a minute, I wonder if I can make this work for me. It was way easier, but also I kind of couldn't play it anymore. Like, it's just kind of, well, this game's broken. So
what did you have
I would not call it one of the best. SNES.
Did you know that the Genesis version had battery saving, which allowed you to save lines and ongoing playoff stuff?
That's pretty cool.
Rather than have to use passwords, which is what your version would have done.
Yeah, it did have. That's right, it did.
That being said, it would have been easier to just get a password off your buddy to like pretend you beat that game. On the SNES
I guess
version.
so. I still remember a lot of like the weird sound effects. Like it's so distorted, but like just the sound of dudes getting wiped out or like during a fight, just the kind of like crackly kind of sounds that would come out of that thing.
Yeah.
I like it, but it's not timeless. It's not great. Past that, like I don't know. I didn't really. I think I played like 2K7 or something for achievements because it was one of that first wave of games, or 2K6 maybe.
Okay.
Like one of those early 360 launch games, because it just had a bunch of easy points or whatever. So I didn't spend too much time with it because I didn't really need to. I never really played much like Hits, which was kind of the Blitz hockey series. So like harder hitting, more violent. Like it was like, it had to have been Midway. Like it was 2003, probably. 2004 kind of GameCube games. I'd mostly play hockey games at like friends' houses. I wouldn't get them myself. So
that's totally
delving
fair.
into like franchise modes and stuff wasn't really something I'd do.
There was an Xbox Live Arcade game called 3-on-3 NHL Arcade, which was kind of dope as fuck, actually.
So I think that game, something like, okay, whenever I have the Blu-ray I have the PS3 version, whenever I have it in, there's like a ghostly other Blu-ray thing that says NHL 3-on-3 Arcade.
Okay.
So I don't know if I have it or like access to a demo of it or something weird.
Huh.
Because I own this game. I don't know. It might also be like, hey, if you bought this new, there's a code and you can redeem it and you can get NHL 3-on-3 or something.
I'm sure you could probably
but I might have that game.
It. In fact,
like on PSN or something?
In fact, yeah, I just found it on PSN here.
Is that still supported? Like they're still online for that because it's different? It's not the annual sports title?
I think it's still supported, but like they don't need to do lot, right? They just have to leave the servers on. So
yeah, I know, but they still refuse to do that past a certain point with their regular games. So I'm just wondering if there's like, oh no, you got to get 3-on-3 Arcade 17, and then you can play.
I mean, it's a good point.
If they did something weird like that,
it is only available on PS3 anyway. It's not available on the PS4, PlayStation Network. So
okay, kind of wandering outside of like the sports universe stuff, just like EA's policies in general. Do you know if they continue to support all of the Battlefield games, or do they do the same thing? Do they kind of wean you off 3 and get you to play 4 and get you to play Hardline and get you to play Battlefield 1? Like, do they kind of bump the community around, or do they just let them stay there?
I know Battlefield 3 is still a thing because they have that in their EA access thing that you can play for free, so they definitely still support that.
Okay. Or because, like, with the Battlefront 2 trailer this week, I was kind of like, the pessimistic part of my brain was like, are they going to force me to buy Battlefront 2 by, like, taking 1 offline? Or would they never dare do that because that's just the worst?
It's a different thing, though. Like, you have to realize that the people they're catering to with the online stuff are people that care about roster changes and team changes and stuff, which is why they released an NHL game every year. And then, like...
So they want to play this year's Leafs or whatever. They don't want to play their favorite 2011 Leafs.
Or they want to, like, recreate the playoffs or something. Like, that was actually something I was considering, like, would be a cool thing if I had thought of it. Like, get NHL 17. Like, when we find out who's all in the playoffs, just do, like, an automated thing with those teams and see, like, what the computer says
who would
or something.
Win,
yeah.
What the computer thinks would win. Yeah.
And put down all the
money.
I
know, like, I have one friend who does that. Like, he re-ups every year because he cares about that kind of stuff. But as a more, like, casual sports fan / video game player, sure. I don't know. I didn't feel, like, too weird about getting an out-of-date game because it's, you know... It's 18 years newer than the SNES game I was playing, so it's still pretty cool.
Yeah,
like,
no,
it's
for
got
sure.
all these features I didn't have. So.
And like, it's the same.
And it was
for
$2.
It's the same for people who casually play shooters that like want to try Call of Duty. They're probably going to get Call of Duty 2 because that's the one they've heard everybody talk about for 10 years. They're not going to get like the new one that people aren't talking about. Like, it's just how casual.
Like Modern Warfare 2, or
yeah, exactly. Like.
Okay.
The people that like are super in to the sports scene, they don't mind buying the same type of game every year for like the minute changes that makes it more of a simulation for them. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but for you who just wants to play hockey, like a hockey game, why wouldn't you buy the $5 game instead of the $60 game? Like,
yeah.
That being said,
they had stacks of them at, like, only PS3, though. It was a little weird. I wonder if there's other, like, achievement folks out there who would prefer the 360 version. Because, yeah, it was like 360 had 08, 09, and that's it.
Yeah.
And, like, 1 copy each. Whereas PS3 had, like, maybe a dozen copies each. Like, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Like, it just had all of them.
Yeah.
And that's where I chose 11 specifically, just because, hey, this Metacritic number is bigger. Like, that was it.
Sure.
It was just 88. That's a higher number than 86. So, whatever.
Yeah.
I will get that. And, yeah, a little bonus, Atlanta Thrashers still exist, so I get to enjoy that. In my 93 cart, the Hartford Whalers still exist, so I get to enjoy that as well.
Yeah.
I don't know. Something about teams fading is interesting to me.
So, if that's the case, how do you feel about the Jets leaving and then coming back, and they're a thing again?
Yeah, well, that was the Thrashers thing, right?
Uh-huh.
I think they became the Jets. So There is no Jets in mine. And yeah, that was kind of mind-blowing because, like, that's a Canadian city. That's a Canadian staple of, like, when I was a kid and hockey and everything. Like, I knew about the Jets. So hearing that they had a dozen years or something where they had no team was sad. Like, I don't know how that happened.
But then do you care now that they do?
I guess I'm kind of happy about it. Like, just, you know, the city of Winnipeg, I'm sure, loves hockey, so it seems sad that they didn't have an NHL franchise for so long. But
Sure.
I'm not tuning into the game. They're one of the two teams that didn't make it, right?
Yeah.
This year?
Yeah. I guess the thing I was getting at is it just the idea that, like, they left, they're no longer
that sports
a thing
teams comes
that you cared about?
go, or...
Because, like, now that they're back,
I think it's just...
like, whatever. They're a team. Who cares?
Oh, sure. I take it for granted again.
Yeah.
I just be like, yeah, whatever. Like, yeah, I'm not making a pilgrimage to Winnipeg to watch the season opener next year or something.
You really shouldn't do that.
I haven't bought in that hard. But,
nobody should go to Winnipeg.
I don't know.
Place sucks.
I looked at those wikis with renewed interest, I guess, recently.
Okay.
So,
cool.
Yeah. Outside of sports entirely now and EA and everything, sure. I finally cracked through the rough time I was having with Dark Souls New Game Plus 1, I guess.
Okay.
Like, I finally beat some bosses and stopped taking it for granted that I was going to win and, like, had to take it seriously again.
Yeah.
And that was pretty fun.
Okay.
I did, like, maybe 4 bosses in one night, which felt pretty cool.
Yeah.
But then Sen's Fortress is still kind of messed up. I don't know.
Well, I mean, the idea is that the challenge is still there. Like, the reason why people do New Game Plus is because the challenge is still there, but, like, you know what to do, so you can get through it a little quicker. It's a little more satisfying.
So you at least know the world and know what to expect. You just still have to be awake and perform. Like, you have to
You still have to play a video game. It's not over. Yeah.
You can't just cakewalk it completely. Yeah. So... You know, and then there's reason to level up still and just get invested in it again. So that was pretty fun. I don't know. How do you feel about Sen's Fortress? Do you like it? Or...
You know, I
find it kind of annoying.
Yeah, I've been meaning to revisit that game because I don't remember Sen's Fortress very much at all. I remember not liking it, though, that much.
It's kind of like crazy Indiana Jones temple, but with, like... I don't know, like crazy lizard men, like snake dudes that just take a lot of hits and throw electricity at you and knock you off stuff, and I don't know.
Sure.
It just takes a long while to, like, ascend it.
Yeah.
And then by the time you get up there, there's, like, some stuff that can totally one-shot you, and it's Dark Souls, I guess, but it was kind of... My momentum faltered a lot during that part, so I've kind of... You know, traded in my sword for a hockey stick this week, and been having a little more fun.
I get a lot of Sen's Fortress in Dark Souls 1 mixed up with the poison area in Dark Souls 2, because they're very similar in how they look, where they're, like you said, a fortress, basically, with, like, lizardmen type people around.
Traps and swinging blades and boulders.
I get mixed up in my head what comes from what. Like, they're swinging, like, axe things, right? At some point?
Yeah, there's a lot of those.
Yeah.
So just kind of narrow pathways with swinging things, and you got to run through them or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's kind of where I left off in there. But I really just like that Depths to Blighttown trek down is really great.
Uh-huh.
Like, maybe just once you get used to it, it's just something about it. I just love the idea of, like, going down to the depths of hell, essentially. Like, it actually looks all hellish by the time you're done down there. It's just a cool design. I still really enjoy it.
Did you play through 2?
I got to a certain part in 2.
Okay.
I haven't... I'm trying to remember. Like, I went down the well and fought a bunch of rats and stuff, and then went another layer down. And then found a bonfire, and that you can warp out just kind of felt weird. Like, I was just like, that's so weird, because, like, I should feel trapped and, like, oh, shit, I'm in it now, but it doesn't really have that in there anymore, because you can just warp around.
Yeah,
So, I just kind of got irked by that and stopped. So, I forget what it is. I guess it's essentially the Blighttown of 2 is maybe where I was at.
Okay.
It's like, it might be this poison bog area you're talking about.
Okay,
maybe. It looked all foggy and weird, so I don't know. That was the last time I played that. If I, get the momentum back with 1, maybe I'll roll that enthusiasm back into 2 and see where I get, but...
I really like in 1 where, like, you go through, like, Undeadburg and whatever, and, like, the Depths and Blighttown, and, like, even Sen's Fortress, and it's all just shitty. It's just, like, shitty garbage you're going through. And then you get to Anor Londo, and you're like, this is like a beautiful castle. Like, there's still
this
like...
looks totally different. Yeah.
It's like refreshing until you realize that the things here are still trying to kill you, and they're still hard.
Like, there's all these weird ninjas. The thing that, threw me so hard when I got to that part was I was just like, I guess there's just nothing here. Like, I just, like, went back, because it's just... I don't know what to do. Mm-hmm. And it's just, hey, there's this narrow walkway and, like, one little window. You got to go in there.
Yep.
It's like, what? How would you? Okay.
Yep.
Cool, I guess. And then proceeded from there. I like that painting. Like, that whole crazy area in there.
Yeah, yeah.
Once you get to go in there, that's pretty cool.
No, man. Anor Londo is, like, one of the pinnacles in, like, video game level design for me. Like, that, just finding it the first time is, like, awe-inspiring.
Okay. Because, man, the one part I remember just like, okay, well, I've come so far, I'm not gonna, like, give up on this game. But fuck, is those, like, dudes on the edges throwing giant arrows at you?
No, it's a shitty, like, hard thing. I just mean, like, the majesty of that level when it hits you the first time.
Like, the visual design of it?
Good.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
But, like, there's some shitty parts. There's a part where you're, like, on the rafters up and, like, very high up on, like, narrow walkways and, like, no, there's shit there, for sure.
Like, I got through that part, like, I think first try, so I felt pretty good. Maybe I fell, like, once early, but it's close enough to the bonfire. But once I got through, like, that kind of rafter ninja thing, I was like, oh, I guess that's what everyone was talking about with, like, the really hard Anor Orlando stuff. And then it was the giant archer dudes that was like,
fuck those guys.
Like, I just had to completely change how I was approaching everything. It's like, I guess I'll wear my heaviest armor and maybe also cast this spell. Like, I was just having to try all this weird stuff to not fall to my death every time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. There's still a lot of fondness for that game.
There's some fucking bullshit in Anor Londo, for sure. But, yeah. Yeah. Those are
Dark Souls.
Good games.
It's great. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I also started and like got a little ways into Full Throttle Remastered. I pre-ordered that a while ago.
Okay.
I just was on board for another adventure game thing. Have you ever played that one? Or
I never did play Full Throttle, no.
Okay. I don't know. I'm just coming off like a week of video game podcast stuff where people are saying like really glowing things about it. It's probably still my least favorite Tim Schafer game. Like, I don't really love it in the same way I do, like, Day of the Tentacle or even Grim Fandango and stuff. Like, it's just, something about it isn't doing it quite right. And, like, having just played some of it, I feel it's just, like, maybe it's more interested in, like, the cutscenes and the story and, like, the style as opposed to the adventure game puzzleness. Like, it's very shallow puzzles. And they don't really give you a lot of inventory or stuff to do on that front, so you just kind of breeze through it really quickly. Like. Well, I really enjoyed coming out of Thimbleweed with like, here's a giant list of here's all this inventory, here's all these new puzzles, you gotta figure this stuff out. And even going through Day of the Tentacle again, there's just a lot of stuff you're doing with like juggling 3 different characters and all this stuff. Like Full Throttle, you're one guy. He's a biker. You hold like maybe 4 or 5 items at a time. Like there's some weird logic where it's just kind of like, oh, you just can't drive there right now. Like it just, some of it just seems a little more arbitrary than the like more contained scenarios of you're in this crazy mansion or whatever. Like it's something about it just doesn't scratch that itch quite as well. I guess, you know what? Maybe it's foreshadowing like Grim Fandango, which kind of goes on a wild like globe-trotting adventure. But it's a couple kind of crappy small towns in Full Throttle, so it doesn't have the saga of that either. But I don't know. Like, it's still generally of that era, of that type, so I still kind of like it, but it's not the one if I had to nominate the one. I think the one for me is still Day of the Tentacle. But, oh well. Mm-hmm. It's okay. I'm playing it. I'm getting trophies now. And remastered it. It looks pretty sharp. I guess if there's one thing, like, I really wish it just had, like, the kind of double click and you change screens immediately. Like, instead you're kind of watching the characters slowly walk across the screen a lot. And having played it already, I guess it's just... I don't have as much patience as I did for stuff like that. But there's also some puzzles where, like, there was specifically one where a junkyard dog is chasing you away.
Okay.
And you kind of just have to navigate across, like, this junkyard every single time you want to try that again. And that was annoying. Like, I'm pretty sure I need to use this stake on this dog somehow. I'm going to try to do that. Oh, I screwed up or something and chased me across. Okay, I'm going to go back. Like, it's like a 20, 30 second ordeal every time, and I don't know. Sigh.
Yeah.
So, adventure game problems.
Yeah.
But, yeah. That's video game stuff for me. Have you been tinkering with anything this past week? Did you get back into Dark Souls 3, or...
Yeah, I've been playing a little bit of Dark Souls 3. I was bummed because I was, like, streaming a little bit of it. And I was like, okay, like, I have nothing else to do tonight. Here we go. We're going to play and, like, stream some and from the beginning, and progress is going to be made. The fucking game servers went down for maintenance and kicked me off. I was so fucking angry. It just booted me from the middle of the game as I was playing at the beginning. And I was not happy about that.
That's weird. Like, so all the network stuff doesn't just go away? It kicks you out?
It just kicked me out. Like, I was mid-roll, like, trying to get away from something, and then next thing I know, I'm on the main menu.
Huh.
I was fucking angry, because I hate that shit. I hate it so much. Like, yeah, I understand your servers are going down. That's fine. Just, like, don't show me bloodstains. I don't fucking care. Like, I still want to play this video game. No, you can't play the video game right now. So, that was lame. I was not happy about that at all. So that was the last...
Is that like some security thing? Like, why is it like that?
Idea.
That sounds like Diablo 3 or something. Like, you gotta be online all the time.
Yeah, I have no idea.
In order to play.
Why that was, to be honest. No idea. I've been...
So... Mm-hmm. Well, I guess you got frustrated and quit at that point, right? Like, you didn't try to load up again? Like, maybe it was just like, okay, bother. Now it's stripped of bloodstains and all that stuff. It just doesn't handle that transition very elegantly. It just drops everything.
Yeah, I didn't bother.
Yeah.
So I just quit out.
That's too bad.
I've been playing a game that I was sent a code for to look over called Dead Cells. And that game's kind of okay. It's a 2D... Metroidvania, roguelite, pixel art, I don't know. All these buzzwords are things. It's kind of like a Castlevania game if the Castlevania game was roguelite-ish in that you always have the same dungeon you have to go through, but like the layout changes, kind of like a Spelunky or something. Like, you know how Spelunky will always have like the underground and then the jungle and then blah, blah, blah. But like the layout on how to get to the end of it is
like
different.
Ice caves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind
of
like
the tile sets are, the themes of the areas are consistent, but it's randomized. Okay.
And then between the areas, there's like a shopkeeper guy that can look at blueprints for you. And then like you pay him cells or whatever that unlock more items and all this sort of progression that like stays with you as you do runs. So the idea is that you start off with basically nothing, and then as you keep going, you unlock more and more. It's fun. It's super fun. The thing about it, I think, that makes it good is that it moves really nicely. Like, it controls really nicely. And like the different weapons that you can pick up, different swords and like daggers and whips and shit like that, all have like differences that make them worth trying. Like, for example, the whip has like a long load up time basically, or whatever, like a long, what the hell is that called? when you're like
Wait, like so you pull back the whip before
Yeah.
you snap it forward?
yeah, I can't remember.
Wind up, I guess?
Wind
I don't
up,
know.
yeah. It has a long wind up time. And it does less damage than even like your basic shitty sword that you always start off with. But like the thing about it that's nice is that it ignores shields, and like if you hit an enemy at the end of the whip, it will always do critical damage by hitting like with the
Okay,
tip
so
of
if
it.
you snap that whip just past their shield, it's still pretty good?
Well, I mean, it'll ignore shields, just period, wherever you hit them with the whip. But like, it'll do critical damage on the like tip of it or whatever. And like,
Okay.
some
Like, what's kind of the general aesthetic? Is it kind of Castlevania medieval, like, action? Or is it
Yeah.
sci-fi? Or
it's kind of Dark Soulsy
okay.
in the like its aesthetic. It's kind of like a weird fantasy type realm, but like dark and like shitty. You start off in like a dungeon, then there's like you're going through like the not ruins or remains necessarily, but like seems like a castle, like the castle tops that you're just kind of like trying to get through to get to the next area to like a drawbridge where you have a boss fight. Like, I don't
Okay,
So
okay.
yeah, that kind of aesthetic, but not like a high fantasy, kind of like a gritty, shitty fantasy, which is kind of my aesthetic, I guess. Shitty fantasy. So yeah, and it kind of looks like
Dead Cells, you said, right?
yeah, it's kind of the art style that you would have seen with like Sword and Sorcery, kind of pixely, but like not that pixely. Like there's still detail and stuff in it. It's hard to describe pixel aesthetic because there's
Like, to differentiate it, like it's
Yeah.
like it's not 8-bit, it's not 16, it's like 25 pixels, you know?
yeah,
Like Axiom Verge or something.
sure.
I don't know.
Like
Yeah.
it's somewhere like between a PS2 and a PS1 game if they did like a pixel aesthetic, I guess.
So not like Odin Sphere, but
No, not like a clean,
Post Symphony.
not a clean
Okay.
style, but like it definitely has a style, like, and it works for it, I guess. I don't know. I kind of hate pixel aesthetic right now because everything fucking does it, but this works.
Yeah,
This does
I
it
guess.
fine. So yeah,
What's I guess a key thing for Castlevania for me is the rock and soundtracks. Like, how is the music in this?
the music I would say is surprisingly decent for like
Okay.
it being kind of a lesser big title or something. I wouldn't say it's like Castlevania, like you're not gonna get bloody tears or anything memorable, but it doesn't
Okay.
get grating on you, which is super important when you're playing the same level
It's going
over
to
and
be
over.
looping a lot. And
Yeah.
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 Okay.
So it's not too bad that way. But yeah, no, it's super fun. I'm not really sure when it comes out. Okay, Dead Cells hits early access May 10th, 2017. So that's when people will be able to buy it in early access or whatever. I've had a few crashes
Okay.
with it, but it's kind of to be expected when you're playing a not finished build rather. Especially like if this isn't even an early access build yet, then that makes a lot more
This is
sense now.
pre-early access.
Yeah, so
It's extra early.
yeah, it's making sense. After reading that, I had no idea actually. That makes sense why some
Okay.
of these crashes have happened. Yeah, it's super good. I highly suggest people that like Metroidvania type games check it out. It's
Like, keep an eye on that one. It's coming together.
it's not going to be any Hollow Knight or anything. Like there's better Metroidvania games out already that you should probably check out if you really want a Metroidvania type game. But like this would fall more on the side of Castlevania, like a roguelike Castlevania type thing, whereas Hollow Knight would be
Okay.
much more like a Super Metroid. So, yeah, if you had to make
So
a
it depends where
distinction.
you are on that spectrum.
Yeah, Hollow Knight
what
is
you
very
prefer.
much like, do you want to have just a giant world of like cool characters to meet and like upgrades that will let you get further and all this stuff in that world until you beat the game and then feel good about yourself? Or do you want a game where you'll play through the same gritty, shitty environment over and over, but you'll get progressively stronger with more options on how to go through it as you do it? It's kind of the difference. But yeah, Dead Cells. That's probably the okay. I played some Resident Evil fan games, and man, that's a range of games. There's one on the phone specifically I want to talk about called Jill's Nightmare.
Okay.
So this is a game that is available on Android only.
Yeah, because they're more Wild West with the copyrights and yeah, okay.
Yeah, there's that. It's free, and it is the most adware app you could probably download on your phone.
Oh no.
So
Okay.
when you start it up, there's just like a blank screen that says like what resolution or whatever do you want to run this at, 30 FPS or 60 FPS. So they give you that option right away. So I choose 60 FPS. Then there's an advertisement that I have to wait 3 seconds until I can close. Then it shows Jill's Nightmare, and like it has Resident Evil 3 sprite of Jill on top, over top of like the mansion from like Remake or whatever, concept arts or whatever. And it says Jill's Nightmare in like a shitty Resident Evil font, and then like new game, load game, and like a settings thing. And then I choose new game, and then I get an ad.
Okay.
And then a thing will pop up, kind of like the beginning of Resident Evil 3, where she's kind of describing what's going on, like setting the scene. Only it's not her talking. It is a crappy text-to-speech voice that's like reading this
like Vocaloid.
Yeah. Okay. This terrible, terrible long story that takes way too long and is convoluted, even for Resident Evil standards. And then when the screen fills up with text, there's an ad. When that ad's done,
I'm just like, is the text like, is the voice like trying to be all scary and like mood setting, and then it's just like here's a commercial. Like it's just like you're watching a really moody horror movie, and then it's McDonald's suddenly. Like it just totally pulls you out.
It's like for people who don't have Androids, I guess, like free games kind of use like the ads by Google ads or whatever. So they're like the advertisements where it's a link to like the game on the Play Store with like a little abrasively loud commercial. Like it'll be like some dude being like, get to the front lines or something, and like a helicopter sound for like that Art of War game or whatever.
Okay.
And then where the X button is to close the ad, there's a timer that goes like 3, 2, 1. Yeah. That's the ads we get for like everything. So when that ad's done, another fucking image pops up for a background, and the Vocaloid keeps going. So there's more story.
Like another screen of exposition?
Another screen of exposition. When that's done, there's another ad. I'm not kidding. There's an ad after every transition. And then
or just like you're watching Star Wars and the scroll goes up.
Yeah.
And at the end of the scroll, there's another trailer or something. Like just pull you right out. That's great.
This summer.
Yeah, it's like, wait, I thought we were watching the movie already. It's like, you are, but we need to let you know about the sequel to Summer Catch. I don't know why they made it.
Right, exactly. Okay, so at this point, we're in the game, right? And what we see on screen is the sprite for Jill Valentine from Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
Okay.
Overlaid the clock tower for SNES background, like the mansion from that video game, Clock Tower.
From Clock Tower?
Yeah.
Okay.
The SNES Clock Tower specifically.
Wow. Just remix, like just whatever you want to sample.
At the bottom of the screen, like a whole third of the whole screen is like your inventory / status bar. So like it'll show like what your health is with the little I can't remember the name of the stupid thing. You know, the like heartbeat sensor thing, the EKG meter. So there's
so like a green to yellow to red.
The standard like Resident Evil thing, like but a shitty version of that because it's an app. There's beside that like what you have equipped, so like a handgun or a knife or whatever. And then there's an inventory area with, and I shit you not, like 18 inventory spaces. It's like the most inventory you can fit. And the reason I realized as I was like laughing about this is because, oh, right, they can't do chests because they don't know how to program a game, which becomes abundantly clear once you realize how you play the game is if you tap to the left of the screen, she will move to the left of the level. If you tap to the right of the screen, she will move to the right of the level. There's a button for aiming whatever weapon you have equipped, and then a button for action. And that's it.
Okay.
So if a zombie comes on the screen...
But it's primarily side-scrolling then, right?
It is all side-scrolling.
Fighting game sprite? Okay.
Yeah. So if a zombie comes on the screen, I have to hold the button to prepare my weapon, and then push the fire button to shoot it, which is fair. That's how it is in Resident Evil, so I'm okay with this. What I'm not okay with is sometimes the zombies don't even know you're there. They'll just walk past you, and then, like, they just bounce back and forth like a dumb pong ball, like, wherever the limits of that, like, hallway are.
Wait, so you're on the same plane, but they'll just walk past you?
Sometimes.
They won't even interact with you?
Okay. A bunch of times they'll grab you from about a foot away, so when you think you can get away, you can't. And sometimes you'll walk right into them, and they'll just not get the trigger to, like, hit you. So
start attacking.
Yeah,
okay.
So you just walk past them.
Well, is that Jill's nightmare then? Is like these weird, like unpredictable zombies, or
no? I think
does it have? Wait. So you said there's 2 pages of Vocaloid business. What is the setup? Like,
I have no idea.
What is this? Okay.
I have no fucking...
Like, what is this voice telling you? Do they establish it is the Clock Tower Mansion? And like,
no, I don't think so. I have no fucking idea. It's a good question. It's a very good question.
Okay.
If people are interested, there's a video of it on
it's
my
a free
YouTube
game.
And on Twitch.
Oh yeah,
you can just watch it. But like, I would suggest not downloading it on your phone because I'm a little afraid I have a virus now. But I mean, the things I do for Resident Evil.
Did you give it permission to like access a bunch of stuff or anything?
No, I would not do that. I would have deleted it right away.
It's like, oh, Jill's nightmare needs to know where you are right now.
Yeah.
Like,
Jill's nightmare needs to know what the...
We need to know your contacts.
What the CVV code on the back of your credit card is.
Yeah. We're going to populate the game with like your friends' names and stuff.
Okay.
It's scary.
So here's one of the weird things is I finally found a save room in this game when I was playing it. And the save room is like the save room music, which is how I knew it was a safe room or whatever. And instead of like anything you can interact with, there's this giant glowing area, like a circle, that you step into. And when you step into that, you have a save feature and a shop feature. And the shop feature, you can buy in-game items with in-game currency that I don't know how you even get. I just had a bunch of it to start off with. So,
like, it's not treasure items or anything like in 4, it's just you just have money.
I just had money. So, I bought a shotgun with a bunch of shotgun shells and it was weird.
That'll make things easier.
And she doesn't know how to like hold a shotgun, or they didn't know how to animate her holding it, so she's just like one-handed holding this giant shotgun like it's a handgun in front of her face. And like,
well, like I'm assuming they're just mapping like a gun over a fighting game position or something. Yeah, okay.
For sure.
This sounds bootleggy and kind of great, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's a good thing it's free.
I forgot the best part about all of this. You know how I was saying how there was ads like the whole time trying to get into the game? Well, luckily there's no ads when you're in the game, except for the banner ad that takes up a literal 1/3 of your screen in the top right corner, cutting off all vision in that area the whole time.
So if there's monsters there
won't be
secret...
because they can't program monsters to be like that high. Oh, crows are like twice as big as zombies. And they just kind of don't do anything. They just fly back and forth. They don't attack you or anything. It's a weird
scary
thing. Yeah. And they make their crow sounds. You know how it is, crows and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Good old crows.
There was that game. And there's also the Resident Evil 4 dating sim that I played. That was interesting.
Who 4 specifically? Like,
Yeah.
I'm trying to think how many characters are even in there. You got, like, Ashley and the girl on the phone.
Oh, no, you play as Ashley. This is Ashley's story you're playing. So the game starts off with you getting abducted by Krauser or whatever, like from university, and then getting implanted with Salazar's like bug or whatever the fuck, the parasite.
Mm-hmm.
And then like Leon showing up and like breaking a bunch of barrels, and you're just like, why does he hate barrels so much? And yeah, it's weird. It's a weird kind of cute little thing. There's way too much writing in that game though. Like whoever made that visual novel silly fanfic-y thing, they like writing a bunch of dumb bullshit too much, and
they had a story to tell.
They had a story to tell. And I have to admit, it got a genuine huge laugh out of me, where like it starts off with like showing kind of like all these fucking like dating sim visual novels are, where it shows like the place you're at, right? And then like a bunch of text, like what you're thinking or what you're saying to a friend or whatever. And then like out of nowhere, it just shows Krauser holding like in front of a limo, holding a sign that says Ashley on it, like a valet, like he's a valet, but it's like an actual Resident Evil 4 model of Krauser with like a giant knife in his other hand, just like looking all scowly. And I have to say, it got a genuine laugh out of me. It was really good.
It's like, I'm the chauffeur.
Yeah.
Like, you got to be tough.
Yeah.
Or driving in the city.
Or the like first time you meet Leon, where he like busts open the door to the little closet you've been stored into, and you're like looking at him all dreamy, and like you're imagining like how great he is, and then it just shows him break a barrel, and you're kind of like, wait, what?
So is it just like repurposing assets from 4 then? Or like screen caps that are like cropped or something? Or
yeah, that's right.
Okay. With text over them and hearts and whatever, maybe.
Yeah. There's the pink, like bubbly hearts and background and stuff in a lot of parts, and a part with like Leon. So
you can only date Leon then?
No, this is the thing. First of all, it's not done yet. And for anybody wanting to know what it's called, it's actually officially called like Resident Evil 4 Otome Edition by Erotome Softworks, I think is their name. They do like fanficky bullshit, I guess, or maybe this is their first one. I don't know. They're in the midst of making it right now. It kind of ends at the end of like you going through the village with Leon as Ashley. But one of the potential love interests will be Salazar or whatever at the end, which I don't understand how you would get that ending. And like let's just say there's a part in that visual novel where she looks a little too weirdly and longingly at the merchant, the weapons merchant.
Okay.
And
see, I was thinking like Luis or something, like characters.
Yeah.
Not like
Luis wasn't even there as far as I can tell.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like suave Spanish guy, you know? No, that's boring. The shopkeeper.
Yeah.
And the weird monster man.
Yeah.
Okay. What about Village Chief? Like he's kind of crazy.
Maybe. Yeah. I don't know.
Okay.
I think he appeared for like 2 seconds. But like I don't know. It seems pretty accurate because these are all people she wouldn't have even seen. Like, I don't think she ever meets Luis.
I guess, yeah, maybe not.
Maybe.
He does die tragically, so...
He dies real early in that game.
I guess so. I really love that part in the house, though. Like, just to talk about Resident Evil 4, I guess, though.
Yeah,
like, that standoff siege moment.
Really? Because I hate it.
It's a real high point. Oh, okay.
Actually, the reason I hate that game in a lot of ways is because I hate the combat, the focus on just like...
Oh, so that's what that section is all about? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I still the idea of like, oh no, we're getting attacked from all ends. We got to run upstairs, push the ladder down, run downstairs, shove this briefcase over. Like, it just had a cool, like, defend your base kind of thing going on.
Did you ever play The Evil Within? Because I know you bought it.
I played a bit of it, but I forget where I kind of stopped. I think there's like crossbows and like dudes up on walls and stuff, and it was just demanding a lot more combat.
Yeah.
I defeated that crazy hair monster though. Felt good about that.
Yeah, in the furnace area. Or like multiple furnaces, I guess, because there's like a few that you can go into in that area.
Did they ever like officially patch it so you could change the view settings?
The like field of view? Yeah.
Yeah.
They did.
Okay. Maybe I should load that game up again then, because I knew there was mods and stuff that can make that happen, but I was like, no, man, this is what Mikami wanted. Like, this was the plan.
Mikami's
so
an idiot.
Play it like this.
Like, his ideas for making it, like, the film effects are terrible, the bad field of view is terrible, the fact that it was locked at 29.97 FPS was terrible. Like, he really wanted it to be like, no, you're playing a movie, but that doesn't translate to I'm playing on a PC. Like, this is a bad resolution, and it looks bad, and you're bad. Let me play this game
Make
normally.
This as good as it can be, yeah. Because your monster designs and kind of some of the general stuff going on is okay. It's just...
I mean, some of it. It's a dumb game. There's a lot of dumb shit in it.
Yeah.
But I've been playing that again, is why
That's
I'm
what
talking
happened.
about it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
any other crazy
go back to it.
fan games, or?
I mean, there's good fan games, but who wants to talk about those? Like,
okay.
Who cares?
Like, have you streamed a bunch of these so you can check them out? On
there's
VODs
more. There's more fan games I want to stream. Oh, I'll talk about something I won't ever talk about on TDP because I know they'll find it weird and useless. But I've been playing a lot of Resident Evil DS, Deadly Silence, the DS version of that game.
I saw you had that. It's on your desk there. Okay.
Yeah, that game's rebirth mode is dumb in terrible and good ways.
What is the rebirth mode? I don't know if I...
So, it's basically Resident Evil Director's Cut with, like, every now and then just random changes in placements of enemies. For example, there's just, like, a crow in the, like, upper part of the dining room now, like, where the statue is that you push off the balcony. Like, there's just a crow there now, and, like, the room that goes to, like, the plant room where you use the chemical, or the hallway, I should say, where that connects to the plant room where you use the chemical, used to have, like, 3 zombies in it. Now it has 5, because why not? And,
wow, this really is starting to sound like, is this, like, the Master Quest version or something? Like,
sure. This is the thing I need to get at, though, is that every now and then it has this first-person mode where you have to touch the touch screen to slash your weapon to, like, slash enemies that are attacking you.
Okay.
So, an example of this is that if you slash, like, if you were using your stylus or whatever, right, and you slash in, like, an up and down, you'll, like, do an up and down knifing motion. You'll do a side-to-side knifing motion if you do side-to-side, or if you just tap the screen, wherever you tap, you'll do, like, a stab. This is all with a knife in the first person. You can't, like, use a gun in it. And, it's stupid. It's fucking so stupid. But, like, the first time it happens, it's, like, in a way where you're like, oh, this is kind of wacky and crazy, and, like, I can appreciate this. And then it just happens randomly every now and then, and you're just like, this is fucking dumb. I just want to play this goddamn game.
So it's not like you hold L to go into first-person stab mode. It's just like, it's time for a knife sequence, and then it goes into this special thing.
And it has no effect on that actual room. For example, I entered a room. I got attacked by 4 zombies in the first-person mode. Then when the first-person mode was done, I still had 2 zombies in that fucking room, because that's what normally is in that room. It has no effect.
So it's just, like, completely instanced out from the rest of the mansion? Like,
it's completely instanced out, but your health carries over. If they bite you in first-person mode, you are still hurt in normal third-person mode.
Rebirth. Like, does this only happen in the rebirth mode? Like, there's none of this first-person stabbery and regular? Okay.
None at all. Other things they've added, they changed a bunch of puzzles up to just dumb stuff. So, for example, when you use the emblem so that the clock in the main dining room moves out of the way and you get a key, in this mode, when you use that emblem, the clock doesn't move. It opens up the thing so you can like turn the dials on it, the like hands, and you have to change it to whatever time that like you heard it ding out. Spoiler alert, the answer is always 3:00 every time. And the clock starts at like 4:15, so it just is like there to waste your time. It's just there as an extra thing to do because they had a touch screen. So let's make it so you can touch the screen and like move this clock hand.
It was kind of an early DS game, right? So that gimmickry was majorly part of everything that was going on at that time. Like I think is it like 06, 05, something like that?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
When you meet up with Richard, you have to give him CPR because he's dying, and you do that by blowing into the mic.
Nice.
In a rhythm. If you blow too hard, he'll go into danger and bleed.
Wow. Intense, I guess.
There's dumb shit. And some of it actually super affects, like, you living in that game. There's a part where, like, normally what happens is you go into the basement of the guardhouse and it's like filled with water. There's like sharks and stuff there and it's supposed to be super scary. You're supposed to go into the control room and drain the water. So what happens in this mode is that when you drain the water, not only does it not drain right away, but it puts you into this stupid thing where poison is actually coming out of the ceiling, like ventilation or something. You have to run from the thing that you pull to like drain the water over to the valve that they added in this version, and you have to use your stylus to turn this valve, and if you don't, you die. You straight up fucking die. So
poison. Yeah.
It's fucking terrible, some of the choices they made. But some of them are like really funny. Like there'll just be a shark flopping around when you like when you use the crank to stop the waterfall. Like there's just a shark there now flopping around because like you removed him from his home or whatever. It's dumb. There's some dumb shit in that game, but I feel I have to give that game a shout out just because I still think it's the best way to play that game because it's the same game. Well, for all intents and purposes, it's the same game, but you can skip past every cutscene. You can skip past all door opening sequences or like going upstairs and all that stuff. So you can beat that game in like 40 minutes without any of that shit that like
so
you
it's
can't
the best
skip in other versions.
director's cut specifically, or
I get it's still hard to say though because that rebirth mode is they add some dumb
optional, shit. Right? So it's just an extra bonus thing to make it more DS-y, I guess.
Sure. There is kind of like not like a boss rush. What am I trying to say here? There is like that first person knifing mode thing that you can do where like you'll go like stage 1 or whatever and it'll be this hallway and then you'll get attacked by a certain amount of things and then you'll like do leaderboards with your friends or whatever of who can beat it like with the best score and that sort of stuff. So there is like a little different bunch of things you can do with that cart. I just like having Resident Evil in my hands like wherever I go, and this weird dumb version of it which I've been streaming on an emulator because I don't have a capture unit for like my 3DS or my DS.
Yeah.
So I've been streaming it on an emulator because I really feel like people need to see how weird that fucking game is. And yeah, it's been super fun, but I don't know, man. I don't know. Some of those changes, it's hard to get behind.
Is the rebirth mode available like right away, or do you have to beat it first or something? Oh, okay.
Rebirth mode is like when you go new game, it's in huge letters like rebirth mode, and then underneath it is in normal font classic mode. So you can still play the normal game. Yeah, no, they're super happy with it for sure because it uses all the dumb gimmicks that the DS had. But yeah, that's pretty much like all I've been doing. Really, is playing the same old bullshit games over and over. You know how it is.
Yeah.
Oh, Persona 5. There's not much to talk about without like spoiling that game, so I won't.
Hence why you can't stream it. So Atlas was right. Case closed.
Atlas was right, and even the people that were complaining about it, the more I talked to them and said, well, it's 30 hours in that you can play until and stuff. Are you seriously telling me that people after 30 hours don't know if they want the blah blah blah? They're like, you know what? They actually might be right on this. So there you go. Atlas might have just been right, and people might have just been angry. Which leads us nicely into our Hot Pocket topic of the week.
Okay, something made people angry this week? What?
Actually, there's a few things that made me specifically angry.
Okay.
I think the first thing we should talk about is the Facebook killer. Yeah,
I mean, that situation's over now, I guess, but Cleveland, I know his name was Steve.
It was Steve Stevens, and I'm not even fucking kidding.
Okay. See, I didn't want to say Steve Stevenson or something, but it was something like that. But yeah, okay, Steve Stevens.
You're right. Maybe it was Steve Stevenson. I think you're right.
Okay. Anyway, yeah. I don't really know when this all started. I guess he posted a Facebook video of him shooting a person, which don't watch that. Yeah. Did you watch that?
I did. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't watch that. So I haven't seen how disturbing this got, I guess, but yeah, I guess I'll hand it over to you. I just know how it ended. But
sure.
Yeah.
So basically, this pussy ass fat black dude from Cleveland got broken up by his girlfriend and decided that he was gonna go out and shoot somebody. So he got a gun. He found an old man, a completely random target that couldn't protect himself at all, pulled a gun out on him, shot him point blank in the fucking head, laughed about it, and then ran back in his car. That's what he did, and uploaded that to Facebook.
Filmed it on his phone?
Yeah, he filmed it on his phone and then uploaded it to Facebook. Now, originally, the stories were that he was live streaming it on Facebook, which, of course, was internet bullshit that people made up and wasn't true at all, because Facebook came out and officially said he did not live stream it. This was a video that he uploaded. Now, this is sicker to me, because that just shows, the thing is that when you're live streaming, I understand saying something out of line or doing something you might regret, and you just can't get rid of it. That's on the internet forever. It's actually one of the reasons why I think rightfully that you and I don't do online stuff like this podcast live anymore. And I think I was thinking about this just as a tangent. I think you're right in the way we do this stuff, because you and I know too much about the same stuff, for work and stuff, and it's too easy to just talk about that stuff live. Which is kind of what happened with last week's episode, that I had to do a bunch of editing because
the Hot Pocket topic last week got too hot. We couldn't. Yeah,
but this is if we streamed regularly together, we could probably get in trouble just doing that. So it was different before when we both had different jobs and both kind of had different lives, and then we would just talk for an hour or two online, do a live show, whatever. Now it's kind of we could talk too much inside baseball about stuff we shouldn't. So it's probably better to not do that.
Just having that net or whatever. But yeah,
it's kind of nice. Yeah. So going back to this sort of thing, it's kind of sicker just knowing that this dude had this video on his phone and then chose to upload it. That's actually more disturbing.
Then it just accidentally happened because he happened to be streaming at the time. It seemed like he intended to stir up shit, I guess.
Sure,
at
and
this
he did.
point, but yeah.
Yeah. This all ended, by the way, with a national manhunt going on for a while there, for about 24 hours, until he was spotted at a McDonald's in Pennsylvania ordering McNuggets. And when he was given his 20-piece McNuggets by the McDonald's employee, they recognized him, said, "Oh, sorry, we're making some new fries. Can you just pull over to the side there and we'll give you the fries when they're done?" And then they called the cops. When the cops came, being the giant fucking pussy that he was, he blew his own brains out.
Yeah. I know he fled the McDonald's. He got suspicious at some point.
Yeah.
And there was a slow car chase, I guess. I think they said it was 50 miles an hour at most.
Sure.
I think it was Erie was the town.
Erie, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, but
That was there was a TV show that was used Erie as a setting. Anyways,
but
sorry.
Yeah. I guess it was a tense 24 hours when he was still on the loose, I guess, or at large, because I guess he made a claim that he killed way more people in the video, so people were kind of
he claimed he killed 13 others.
Yeah,
or something like that.
I don't know what to really get into with it, just how crazy the internet is, or that it gives crazy people a platform very easily, or what kind of angle, but it was kind of disturbing. I didn't really want to dig too deep knowing there was video out there.
Yeah, I don't really think there's a whole lot to dig in with the actual shooting. Crazy people do crazy things for stupid reasons. This is another thing of that. The internet just makes it easy for everybody in the world to see this crazy, gross shit happening. But the weird thing
I'm assuming Facebook pulled the video pretty quickly, right?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
The weird thing I feel about this is how quickly people use this as a way to push an agenda. The way that they always do. But it just came so blatantly clear when one of the first things that CNN reported about it was how it was a video game murder. And then it became this talk about video game violence for some people. It's weird. It's just a weird thing that can happen these days where people just can't do things because they're batshit insane or pieces of shit anymore.
Well,
now it's giving somebody kind of a platform to discuss their agenda, and it's weird.
Well, there's that where it's CNN isn't just telling you the facts of the situation and hey, keep an eye out for this guy. Anyway, moving on. It's everything's op-ed or whatever. Here's an opinion piece. I gotta fill some time, so I'll just say what's on the top of my head right now. And I saw that clip. It's 30 seconds. It's just some anchor idly saying that. He's not pointing at a study or anything. He's just speaking his mind, I guess. But yeah,
he's not even
dumb.
really that wrong. The video did feel like a weird,
first person
shooter or something.
Perspective. It's kind of weird to spin it that way at when it's still going on and there's no clear information as to why he did it or anything. They hadn't even found that copy of Manhunt 2 in his apartment yet or whatever. They don't have anything to spin it that way. But
they still try it. It's just, I don't know. More than anything for me, this just felt like one of those, this really is the age of spin sort of things. It's just gross. And then the whole armchair fucking activist thing of this isn't something you would have been privy to, not being really around social media like Twitter or stuff where there can be an immediate reaction outrage.
Oh, because, a hashtag or something? Or? Yeah,
because for you, you go to Reddit, but if people downvote it, then you don't see it. And Reddit's more the culmination of a bunch of people agreeing something is good or controversial or something worth talking about. So you'll see that.
So I heard about this story there, but I didn't see tens of thousands of people weighing in. What happened on Twitter?
Well, the fact that the people just started spreading around that dude who got shot or whatever, saying this was his name, don't remember him as a victim or whatever. And then it just became this weird, almost cultish behavior. I saw a bunch of people just being retweet this to show him how he was in life, and it was just a picture of him smiling with his granddaughter or daughter or something. And then I just thought, that's sick. For me, that's kind of more disgusting, just having a million people being here, remember your grandpa? This was him. Remember, if I was on Twitter and I saw it and I was related to that dude, that would have been upsetting as hell. Because
all these weird people, strangers peering into your life now.
People don't know. Yeah, that's fucked up. And the thing is that now that this isn't news anymore, this is another facet that bothers me. Nobody will remember that dude's name.
Well, now that's the thing. I felt bad that we remembered Steve But it's because there was an active manhunt, like, hey, keep an eye out for this guy. So
No. The reason I remember Steve Stevenson as his name is because that's a dumb serial killer type name. Like,
okay.
Come the fuck on. Steve Stevenson? Are you joking? That's like John Johnson. Like, it's so dumb. That's a dumb name.
I want to say the elderly gentleman's name was Joe, but I don't remember, like, exactly. Because I guess it was... So you're saying people on Twitter were, like, hey, getting outraged that people were talking about the killer and not the victim, or something like this? Like, shaming people for talking about it wrong?
No, not really shaming people. The big thing that was happening on Twitter while the manhunt was still going on is a lot of fear-mongering about how, like, share this image, this guy could be anywhere, don't go outside and stuff. And then, like, after this was all done, it was just, like, 24 hours of, this was the victim. He was, like, a 74-year-old man, blah, blah, blah. This is his name. Like, remember him as being, like, a happy individual. Like, fuck off. Seriously, fuck off. You don't care about that dude at all. Don't even fucking pretend for 2 seconds you gave a shit. This is all about you getting that moment of your personal glory where you feel like you're doing something. And, like,
hey, this sounds like
you. Like, fuck you.
If this was a Sesame Street episode, we could say, like, word of the week again is virtue signaling or whatever. Like, you could assert that that's what that is.
It's going to be because of the second thing I'm going to be bringing up in a second here. But
okay, I think I heard about both of these stories in the same video. But
great.
If I have a guess what the Hot Pocket second topic is.
Sure.
But yeah.
I just want to ask if you have any closing ideas or thoughts about any of this stuff regarding specifically the Cleveland, like, pussy.
Well, I guess not really. I mean, yeah. Are people mad at Facebook for letting the video be up there ever at all? Or
they shouldn't. They should be mad at themselves for literal millions of people watching it. Even after everybody knew what it was, people rewatching it or showing it and sharing it. People should be fucking ashamed.
Stumble upon it then? Like, was it?
I saw it randomly in my feed, and I was just like, "What's this?" Oh, that guy got murdered.
Oh wow, okay.
I thought it was a work. Like, I thought it was a fake. I thought this dude was trying to get internet famous. But then, nope, that dude fucking took a gun out and shot that motherfucker in the face. Like, not cool, man. Like, it's been a rough week for news. That was not a cool thing to see on Easter. I was not impressed at all.
I just saw the discussion about it in Discord, like our Discord channel, so
I was mad. I'm very reactionary, as you've probably known. I can be super reactionary, and then I usually, like, calm down and think things through a little clearer. But, like, I'm so fucking angry that dude killed himself because he should have been tortured until he died. I really fucking hate that piece of shit. Like, boo-hoo, girlfriend breaks up with me, I'm gonna go kill a 74-year-old man. Like, fuck you, you fucking pussy.
Yeah.
Ugh.
It's the conversation, whatever. Like, there's ongoing conversation of all kinds about this thing, but...
Yeah.
It's
I just wanted to give my 2 cents on it in a, like, kind of
that's
my
crazy
life thing.
It's like, oh, what is this? Click, and that's shitty that happened. Like, I accidentally watched a snuff video. Like, I'd be pretty mad if I got tricked like that, essentially.
The thing is that I've seen, like, I've watched Faces of Death. I've seen I can't remember his name, and I feel super bad about it. The Nick something beheading, the, like, jihadist
like 06
video.
or 05 or whatever.
Yeah,
like,
when
there's
all
been
that shit was going
unfortunate amount of those, but yeah.
The difference is that I can go into a mindset where I will understand I'm about to see something that will be, like,
so you're
hurtful,
kind of steel yourself a little bit. Yeah.
When I'm just, like, on Easter, heading, like, I'm with my parents, like, I'm with my family, I see this shit just randomly on, like, my Twitter feed when I'm just seeing, like, for a second, like, what people are doing while we're watching Rick and Morty. Like, that's not cool. Like, it fucking struck me. But the thing is that even all of that, it's not the worst, grossest thing I've been, like, surprised with on the internet as far as deaths go. It was kind of clean. Like, it didn't show, like, his head explode or anything, which, thank God, because that probably would have wrecked me. It just kind of showed him drop to the ground. I watched another thing that was maybe more disturbing to me for a few different reasons this week, though. And this is where we're going to be talking for a little bit about Daddy-O5 and child abuse.
Yeah, I figured this was going to be this week's topic. I looked into this a bit in the last 24 hours.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if you had known it. Like, I should have texted you and said, like, if you don't know anything about this, maybe watch a video or something. But
yeah, I think Philip DeFranco, and then there was user like IJKL. It was a Reddit post. I'm assuming he was also the commentator. So I saw two kind of summaries of this. I didn't go to the channel myself and dig deeper because I didn't want to.
Sure.
But yeah,
I took the kind of lead on explaining what was going on with the last one. You want to give a brief summary?
Okay. So I guess just in the past like 2 days, there's been some kind of YouTubers, including Philip DeFranco, like spotlighting this one channel called Daddy-O5, which is a prank channel, but it's essentially
like a family vlogging channel.
Yeah, but they prank their own children.
Sure. Yeah.
And there's kind of one kid in particular who seems to be the butt of the joke more often than not, and that's where things are getting kind of disturbing. But they have like 750,000 subscribers. I'm not sure. I didn't check like how long they've been doing this, but it seems like for quite some time they have quite a substantial audience, which for me is probably the most disturbing thing for me.
Sure.
A little bit is just how many people are gawking at this and finding it like totally amusing and funny with no issue. Like, I don't know. That's the part where it kind of makes me feel a little bad about it. But essentially the Philip DeFranco video just kind of showcases some of the stuff he feels to be the worst things happening there. And it's like, just kind of yelling at kids, pushing them around, like setting up mean-spirited kind of jokes, like have the older brother smash his iPad and then he'll cry and freak out, and then you say, just a prank, bruh. And then
that,
ha ha ha.
Oh my God. Like, I don't like using this word. Him saying that is a trigger that just like makes me fucking furious. Because
it's on the other end of the video. You can't do anything. Yeah, it's just it was weirdly upsetting that and a lot of people are getting really upset about it, reporting them to child services and all this stuff because it's just something very instinctual of just like, no, you don't do that to little kids. Like, don't yell at little kids. We were all kids. Like being in a totally innocent party in a situation and being bawled out for it, and the person yelling knows that it's not warranted. Like, that's it's fucked up, sinister. It was not cool. Like, it takes a dark tone pretty quickly. Like, that it's not just like, oh, I'm gonna freak out a little bit. It's like, no, they're yelling like, what the fuck are you doing? Why would you do that? And just yelling at this little kid. I don't know. It's kind of not cool what's going on. Did you watch which look at it did you check out?
So I'm gonna give you a little bit of background because I've actually seen this family before years ago. So
they've had a channel for a couple years then, or
there was one video I remember like somebody shared with me, I think probably on Facebook when I used that more, maybe on Twitter or something. I feel like it was a family member, somebody close to me in real life. And like I watched it and I got to admit I laughed. I thought it was funny. It was like a prank where like the dad wanted to scare the shit out of the son or whatever because it was Halloween. And like he went overboard and like got a Jason mask and a real chainsaw, and like when they were like sleeping went into their room with like a red light or something and like revved up the chainsaw and like music was playing. Like it was like a terrifying scene, even just like viewing it through a fucking video, just like, let alone being a child. And to me at the time, I laughed at it. I felt a little bad, but I laughed at it because I thought this is just like a misstep in parenthood. And, like, it happens. We all, like, I know when I become a father, I'm going to do something that I'm going to feel, like, really dumb about. And, like, I'm going to fuck a kid's life up probably by, like, a dumb misstep. Or, like, we all remember the time that maybe, like, our dad or mom took a joke too far and we got really upset about it and maybe still hold a little grudge about it. Like, I just felt it was, like, maybe just one of these, like, missteps in parenting.
But you perceived it as, like, a one-time screw-up.
Yes.
Not, this is their lives now. Constant lies and tricks and pranks all the time for the internet views.
So this all coming to light now makes me remember that video, and I'm horrified with myself. Because it was, like, actual signs of, like, this family is psychotic. Like, at that time, and I felt like I maybe could have, like, messaged somebody and said, like, you should look into this family maybe, because that's fucked up. But this is kind of, like, where it gets into that how they have, like, 750,000 subscribers, is that I feel there's a lot of people that were or are like me or whatever that are just, like, they see that video and they're like, oh, that's kind of fucked up. Or, like, I mean, let's face it, we've all had kind of like fucked up childhoods at some point. Like, there's always been some point where if we were on a psychologist's couch, we could point back to, like, a memory or two where our parents maybe did something questionable. And I just thought this was that for them. I didn't realize this was a daily occurrence, and I don't know that 750,000 people necessarily know it's a daily occurrence either, which is why I think it's important that videos like the Philly D video and people talking about child abuse and their, like, experiences come up and stuff, because, yeah, like, with this light shone on it, that whole channel is actually disgusting. Like, it's a fucking disgusting
I guess I kind of appreciated how, like, Philip presented it, because it was just kind of like, I think this is screwed up, but I just want to present it to you as, like, you decide if it is. And it seems like the internet has overwhelmingly flipped out about it.
To be fair, that's what Philly D does. He is, like, a professional fence sitter, neutral party that never has an opinion on anything. The fact that he actually does share his bias in this one is what made me like this video of his more. I like when people say, like, it's more relatable when I know that he personally, like, dealt with child abuse as he was growing up, like an abusive stepfather or whatever, which is why he thinks these people are disgusting and why he's, like, calling them out and stuff like that now. Like, I like that better than somebody just saying, this is kind of messed up maybe, right? Like, here's this, and...
Right, I guess that sounds kind of, like, ambivalent or, like, profiteering or something. But I guess he also opens the video by saying he has not put
monetize it.
Support on that one, so I guess that's cool. It was I don't know, just that something like this could get to the point where almost 1 million people are into it, and it's been going on for some years, and I had just no idea, like, just that kind of... And not on, like, some weird, shady backwater site. It's YouTube, like, the big video site. Like, just how many weird worlds are going on out there.
Oh, my God. Well...
That you can peer into, and I don't know, like...
So here's another issue, right? Like, before we get back to, obviously, the big one of, like, child abuse and whatever. This has been going on YouTube for long enough that 750,000 people follow this channel and they get, like, good ad revenue off of this shit, obviously.
Yeah.
So why, again, was PewDiePie the Hitler of YouTube? Because he made a joke that was a little racy? Like, why is it that all these other channels use the word, like Christian and atheist in their titles no longer get monetized? Why is YouTube cracking down on people that want to, like, talk about their opinions and not about people, you know, beating the shit out of their fucking child?
Actually, you know what? That's fair. That it's like, why are we hearing this from YouTube itself? Like, other YouTubers are getting disturbed by stuff, as opposed to, shouldn't the mainstream media be investigating in some of this stuff? Maybe like, there's actually a child abuse case being broadcast for everybody's enjoyment, like kind of this weird bootleg reality show. Why aren't we reading that in the newspaper? Because, like, I don't know. I guess that's a little weird. I hadn't
we should make
put
sure that there's no
on.
Pepsi ads on anything that PewDiePie or any of these fuckers, I don't know, ever do again, because they made a racy joke, but like, let's just ignore the almost a million people watching
crimes.
Yeah,
essentially, yeah, like people broadcasting crimes.
Well, you're aware that, like, because of this whole thing with Wall Street Journal and stuff and the PewDiePie thing, YouTube has actually made it so, like, if you have certain keywords like Christian or atheist or anything that could be deemed as, like, a hot topic, they just won't let that video get monetized, right?
Oh,
so, like,
crazy.
people that want to talk about, like, real world issues no longer will make money, basically, doing so. But these people, like, you can throw your kid into, like, down a fucking flight of stairs if you want to. Just don't put, like, and then put keywords like kid takes a fall, lol, whoops, and, like, and then you're fine.
Yeah.
Then you're totally fine. Disgusting. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's just a prank, bruh.
Just a prank, bruh. Fucking
it's
deplorable.
So aggravating. Yeah, no, it was a rough look at things. I guess that, I don't know, like, they're children, like, but Cody, I guess, is the victim here. Seems to be the main one. I mean, the whole family is in a weird place, but there's one little kid specifically who seems to be, like, shoved around the most, and that's kind of, I don't know.
He's literally the redheaded stepchild, and it's, like, so depressing and sad. So it's kind of like a human nature, or even, it's even in the animal kingdom, the runt of the litter usually is the one that gets picked on, right? It happens in high school and stuff. The small guys get bugged. The, like, little brother gets, like, teased and, like, pushed around a little bit more than the other brothers or whatever. Yeah. So that's kind of on display here at best. At worst, it's that it seems almost like they're picking on him because they feel like he's not, like, a human being, maybe, or, like, on their level, because he's different. He is different. I mean, he doesn't put up with their shit. He's always crying about, like, them pulling the stuff. He's outwardly said, like, I hate you doing this, and I hate this, and all that stuff. And there's stories and allegations going around that he was, like, unlawfully taken from his mother for, like, this family or whatever. Like, they forged paperwork or something so that they would get custody of him.
And his sister, I believe. I think it's Cody and Emma are, like, 2 of the 5 kids or whatever are stepchildren.
It's weird, though, because, like, I was saying in the Discord,
I feel weird even knowing this.
You have to fuck up to like, be a mom and lose your children. Like, courts want children to stay with their mothers so badly that a lot of times there will be heroin addicts and stuff that is like, well, she's still a good mother, so whatever, court awards it, like, custody to mother. Like, you have to fuck up real bad to be taken away, so I don't necessarily know that the mother was any better. Maybe it's good that they took...
That's the thing. I mean, it's like some other family far away that I know way too much about now, but, I mean, they're broadcasting themselves in this really weird public space, so... Yeah. That's what they're doing. I don't know. Like, it does seem like exploitation in some weird way. I guess I was just thinking, like, even if there's just some, like, really shitty business meeting reason for why it's Cody all the time, it's just like, man, he just gets the best reactions. Like, we should do another prank on him. We get the views. You know, if, like, some crappy parent meeting is happening the night before, like, who should we target in this one? Well, like, look at the chart. You know, the people love it when this little kid freaks out. So there you go. Like, if it's something systematic like that. But, you know, I don't know.
In a, like, way, I would feel better knowing that that's the case. I would actually feel better knowing that there's, like...
Like, if there's some rationale beyond just... Yeah.
Like, if there was, like, a non-human, like, this is just, like, the business aspect of it, I would actually feel better than just knowing that, like, well, we hate his mom, so we're going to, like, murder this child slowly. Like, I would rather know it's not, like, a personal thing, but rather a dumb business decision shown that analytics show is, like, he's better to attack or whatever.
Right. I guess I find it kind of disturbing, though, that because YouTube is so unregulated in this way, like, this can happen. Like, this can become a show and continue on long enough to gain an audience this big and all this kind of stuff. Like, you know, there's shitty reality shows on broadcast television, but they need to be, like, greenlit and looked at by people. Like, there's boards and whatever. Like, there's many eyes on that situation, making sure, like, even shitty, like, John and Kate plus 8 or whatever, like, there's a staff of people filming that. It's not just the parents themselves can do whatever the hell they want in their weird private, like, suburban hellhole and then put it on the internet for you. You know, like, that's the part that gets really crazy to me, of just, like, who knows what's going on? Like, what other channels are out there doing weird nonsense, and then how many thousands of people are completely okay with it? And where are they? And is it just, like, someone in Poland is like, man, Americans are crazy, and that's why they subscribed? Like, I don't know. It's just, it's just weird. But, like, for some reason, the mental image is, like, you know, there's that, you know, story about, like, the woman getting stabbed outside the apartment building and no one phoned the police. Like, to me, this just is, like, this impossibly huge apartment building with 750,000 people in it. And they're looking out into an alley, and there's, like, a kid being shoved around, and, like, his parents are yelling at him. And it's just like, no, whatever. Yeah, this is entertaining. Like, this is why I live here. This is just a funny neighborhood or whatever. And then finally someone else took a look or was walking down the street and was just like, what is going on?
Yeah,
this is crazy.
Horrible. Yeah.
How is this happening? Like, I don't know. It's it's certainly blowing up right now. Like, this just happened in the last, like, 48 hours. I know there's like other opportunists getting in, interviewing people, spinning it their way. Don't know whether to address that stuff or not. I haven't looked into it. Like, I saw there was an interview with the biological mother, I guess. I saw also Keemstar was weighing in. And I don't really know much about that guy. But people seem to be of the opinion he's, like, this weird amoral opportunist or whatever, so I don't know.
I mean, he is a weird amoral opportunist, and that's not what I hate about him in this case. What I hate about him in this case is that he is the type of person that when he gets into a subject, people just don't take that subject as seriously anymore. Because it's well, Keemstar is going to, like, weigh in, then it's just YouTube drama. This is not just YouTube drama. This is, like, so far into real life scary territory. I don't think people realize, like, how really big and shitty this could be for these kids. Like, I see a lot of people, I'm going to do this virtue signaling, like, talk.
Yeah.
I see a lot of people talking about how these kids should be taken away by Child Protective Services.
Yeah.
Like, who the fuck are you to say that, though? Like, I have to agree, these parents are not fit. They are terrible parents. I don't think the foster system is any better. I don't think that's a good way to go. I've read some, like, I've been looking into this as, like, people have been talking about this. I might actually would rather these kids stay with these dumbass, like, parents who, I'll get to why they're sick in a second, but I might want them to stay over going into the foster care, just because some of the shit I've read that has happened in foster care is unfucking believable. It's disgusting, where you actually have, like, kids of, first of all, like, the basic stuff, because they don't feel like they're really in a home, they'll do, like, shit to lash out, like, get arrested and do more prone to, like, drug use and all that stuff. That's whatever. Some of that's even kids will be kids and they're lashing out. But, like, older kids in foster care, like, raping the younger ones, or, like, molestation charges, and, like, man, I don't know. I don't think...
Yeah.
This is where it gets hard for me, because I actually don't... I like to pretend that I have an answer to problems. Mm-hmm. I don't have an answer that works here. These kids, if they're with these parents are stupid. They don't seem to know what they're doing is wrong, and they're abusive while doing it. If you take the kids away and say give it to their mother, why did that mother lose custody in the first place? It might have been a big deal. It might be a pretty big fucking deal that the biological mother of two of these kids wasn't fit to raise them, and yet abusive parents that use them for money on the internet are a little bit better.
More equipped, yeah.
Or are we going to throw them in the system and forget their names completely? Because let me tell you, when this is all done, when Philly D is done making his videos, or when Keemstar is done milking this, everybody on the internet is going to forget these kids' names. Nobody's going to remember Cody. Nobody's going to remember, what was her name, Emma. Nobody's going to remember the dad. This is all going to go away. Nobody's going to remember. And these kids are going to have to live with the consequences of what the internet and a fucking mob of people did to them.
Yeah.
And that's
that
what
does
I'm
seem to
worried
be about. Like how they're reacting on Twitter is like, oh, why is everyone yelling at us? This is crazy. I don't
They're
know.
Stupid.
They've posted something to the effect of like, okay, like feedback received. We're gonna change how we do things. Kind of like almost like, oh, we got our reviews in for the show, and less abuse. Okay, like they're taking
disgusting.
It in a weird way. Dumb. Yeah, like it shouldn't have gotten to this point, but no. I don't know. Yeah, it's definitely like hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of people shining a spotlight on your house suddenly. It's kind of crazy. Sure. So that's going to cause additional strain in the short term. But yeah, I guess long term, if there's a good way out of it, I don't know what it is.
I don't think there is.
It's a super fucked up 21st century problem, though. I don't know. It's like, whoops, hundreds of thousands of people. We're putting on our internet show, and it went bad.
I think that father has to, like, maybe quit this whole internet thing, be a man, get a real job, get a 9-to-5 or whatever, like, provide for these kids, and, like, seek help. I think
we're all going into family counseling or something.
I think he sincerely needs to seek help. I think he's sick, because the way he talks about, like, the way they talk about how they honestly don't feel that anything's wrong, the way that they say, like, this is how, like, all families are or whatever, the fact that that kid in that one video says, at least you don't beat us. At least you don't beat us is not something kids say. That's something they hear their parents say and then they mimic back. That's something that kid probably heard the parents say, well, at least we don't beat you guys, right? Like, that's not something a kid fucking says. That's signs of serious, like, mental abuse and anxiety, and, like Stockholm syndrome is probably there. Like, I don't pretend to be a doctor. Mm-hmm. There's nothing healthy about this family. And I think it all starts with the parenting. And I don't want to see the kids actually taken away. I really don't. I want to see those parents get help, learn to deal. I think those parents were abused. I think they actually feel like this stuff that they're doing is just the way families are. Because, like, when I did something, Dad used to put cigarette butts out on me, so at least we don't beat you, right? Like, this is what gets me so sad about it. And then when I hear or, like, see people in the Discord or see them talk on Twitter, or, like, that mob mentality of, like, these people need to be hung or whatever, I truly, truly believe, as soon as my anger subsided about, like, all this stuff, they need to be rehabilitated. They need help in ways I don't think many people will, like, allow them to get at this point. I think people have just villainized these parents as, like, these are terrible people. They're going to get their kids taken away by, like, harassing CPS until the government steps in and decides what's best for the kids, which, by the way, you never want the fucking government deciding what's best for your kids, because it's, like, fucking, like, as somebody who talks to, or who has to, like, deal with government bullshit for his job, the people who write things in government aren't people. They're not humans. They, like, the whole term,
I mean, it's kind of a
what's
system.
Best for a child. It's gross.
Yeah, it's something about just the fact that, like, the internet is a global community, though. Like, this outrage isn't people in their state or hometown reporting it. It's like this weird.
It's us.
Abstract. It's like, here's
Canada.
A couple Canadians seeing it and being weirded out about it, but, like, I don't know what state they're in. Like, I know they went to Disneyland recently, or perhaps World, so maybe they're in Florida, but I don't know. U.S. somewhere. you know, and like we were just talking about Ohio. Like, I've never been to Ohio, but some crazy stuff happened there. Like,
yeah, some crazy stuff happened there for sure.
It's just, you know, at what point do like rules and laws need to change for like international intervention, like, or just YouTube intervention, or do they need to review their policies to prevent? But I mean, it's such an impossible thing because like so much content is being uploaded to YouTube every day. Like, at some point you can't expect actual humans at Google or anything to like be reviewing channels and like looking for stuff like ethics boards or something like that. Would, you know, hey, maybe that would be great, and then you know, would that be a job you want? Like, that could be lucrative. Like, internet patrollers. They have to. I
think you would definitely need to be a certain type of person.
Audit like 100 channels a day or something. Like, just make sure nothing unsavory is going on in like 5-10 videos.
I'll stick with 100 fucking check-in sheets a day. I'm okay with that.
I know. I guess I'm just like,
be the arbiter
at what point
of what's okay.
Should there be some sort of government intervention, but not directly necessarily in this case? I mean, higher up in some sort of like YouTube, you need to have policies that are different. You know, something.
No, because I don't think you
involved.
Can. I don't.
Like, instead of call centers, you have video centers, and they troll through the internet.
Like, before you upload, somebody has to approve it or something.
Or, you know, even from just a gross corporate perspective, like, even just have someone at Pepsi or at Honda or whatever, like, have to review what channels their ads are appearing on. Like, sort of like how television advertising would work.
Isn't that what we want to get away from, though? That's like police state shit, because if I'm Pepsi and I see
it's corporations.
Somebody's... Yeah, but it doesn't matter. If I'm Pepsi and I see somebody saying that, like, I'm just trying to think. Like, what if I don't like LED? Like, just like, you know what? No, I'm pulling my ad here. Why? Well, because I don't agree with his stance on this topic. I don't agree that this is child abuse, so Pepsi won't.
No, like, I think it would be more cold than that. It would just be like, this doesn't reflect how we want to sell our sugar beverages, so... You know.
I mean, they're already doing this, though.
Yeah.
Pulled all their funding to everybody that uses.
But it seemed pretty like blanket, you know, like it's such a wide umbrella way of doing it. It's like, if it's flagged with this or tagged with this certain hot topic or whatever, we don't want our ads on that. Like,
but I mean, that's
full stop. It's not more nuanced than that, you know?
That's how they would never do more nuance. They would have to.
Well, I think it's impossible, like, just statistically with how much content there is.
Sure.
It's like,
absolutely.
I'm going to watch every second of these, you know, Game Grump videos to see what's going on. Oh, Aaron freaks out too much in this one. I don't want my soda on this one. Like, it's crazy. I don't know. It's just, at some point we need other machines to sort through all this data, maybe, on behalf of companies. So, like, Pepsi needs to code their own YouTube bot that figures out things that reflect what they want. I don't know.
So, apparently Philly D put out a video that I haven't seen today. A
follow-up video? Okay.
Yeah.
I saw there was a follow-up video, but I haven't...
abuse.
I haven't looked at it. So there's more to this story as it develops.
If that's the case, and he has definitive proof from like other videos, maybe that, oh, this is another thing. Daddy of Five started randomly deleting videos that he thought could be like considered offensive in this way. You don't do that. You don't do that when you think you're innocent. When you truly believe you're innocent, you don't go and try to delete evidence.
Start destroying the files. Yeah.
Yep. That is a completely suspicious thing. That is a bad thing to do. So,
doesn't look good.
Yeah. It looks really bad. So if he has definitive proof this is child abuse, like, I hate to say it, they probably should be taken away. Either way, they should be investigated at like the fullest extent that they can be. That's just a given. But I really want to believe that they're not being abused in like actual terrible abusive ways. It's just...
I mean, like, I'm just even...
I can deal with yelling. I can't deal with them being, like, actually hit. I can deal with, like, the scars that verbal abuse will leave. I can deal with like the emotional scars, just knowing that like your parents used you for money or whatever. Like I can deal with the kids growing up with these problems. I can't deal with all these problems being there and then like evidence that like they get backhanded or something or like punched or beaten up. That's just
I find it's more just like the idea of them living in some sort of constantly stressful environment. Like where you never know when you're going to suddenly be freaked out at for something stupid.
Absolutely.
Like,
no, you're right.
Bringing up the other term from like just gaslighting or whatever. Like you don't know what's real anymore. Like I didn't do that and now I'm being yelled at for it. Like I don't know when that's going to happen again. Like you just be constantly on edge, which you shouldn't be when you're a little kid. It should be more fun.
It's so sad. It's weird. Dude. It's so sad. Like, I was wondering kind of what your stance on all this would have been, because I know you're not a kid person. And, like,
no,
I think that's fine, but I think there's a line you have to draw of, like, you don't, like, it's just even, like, an animal, instinctual, primitive thing. You don't hurt the young. Like, you don't.
There is that, but I feel like I kind of just relate to it firsthand. Like, I just flash back to grade 6 when I was being shoved around, and it's just like, just as a person, I would not want to have that happen all the time like that. Like, especially in a safe space like your home. That would just be nightmarish for me. So I'm relating it to more like that as opposed to like, oh, well, my nieces and nephews or whatever up in Edmonton. Like, I don't know. Like, I guess thinking about it that way, that would be shitty too, but that's secondhand. Like, I'm looking at it more just remembering, like, just being in shitty situations when you're a kid. And if that shitty situation isn't just when you're at school and you can still go home and read books and have a good time, like, if it's like, no, it could happen anytime. Yeah. It could happen, like, anytime. Like that's the part that's stressful to me. So no, it's still terrible. Like an empathetic situation. It's not like, oh, whatever, shouldn't have had family in the first place. Like that's jaded. That doesn't mean anything. There's real kids
thing to say
that exist already. So they're that's we're past that point. Now there's real people that are having a shitty, stressful life. So that's no good. That's the thing. I don't know what my burden of responsibility is, though. Like, it's not as clear cut as the, like, call 911 or something because you're in the crazy apartment building and there's a stabbing. It's not that situation, though, because it's just, like, I don't know, like some other country, some state, like some weird things happening. Like, I guess I could report it to YouTube, but then we're talking about taking away their source of income. And then would the dad blame the kids for that? For freaking out? Like, there's been these speculations as well of, like, how do you intervene properly in this situation without it making it blow up? Like, make it worse. Like, oh, there's a powder keg there, and I don't like that. Let's start throwing firecrackers at it.
Yeah, there's a powder keg there, and I have all these damn matches.
I know what we should do. We'll light them and throw them. Like, it's just kind of, that seems to be what's going on today, of just everyone throwing fire at it. And that could go real bad in the next little while. So,
like,
I don't know.
Fuck, dude. It's just such a bad situation. There's no real good answer here. And
21st century trouble.
I guess more than anything is just the fact that I'm sick of seeing the armchair activists come out. Like, trust me, like I prefaced all of this conversation at the beginning. And, like, as you can attest to, I personally am a super reactionary person. When I saw these videos, I was disgusted in a way I can't, like, possibly explain. The way I described it to somebody is it felt like watching the memories of a future serial killer on YouTube. Like, these are the things that this kid remembers, and, like, I get to see it. Like, if you were watching, if there was, like, a biopic on this, like, serial killer's life or something, like, these are the videos that would be the memory section. It's fucking, it's just, I don't know. I was angry. I was upset. I, like, wanted blood as well. I, like, as soon as I calmed down and started thinking a little more clearly, I don't even know what I want anymore, because I don't think there's anything good coming for these kids. I don't, like, Philly D's on his whole escapade right now. People are lauding him as a hero. He very well might be. He might be like the hero YouTube needs or deserves or whatever. People might be right that these kids need to get taken away from their parents, but at the end of the day, Philly D is going to continue being a millionaire, along with all the other YouTube activists that are talking about this. All the Twitter people are going to have a nice jerk-off section, and then when they all come and this is no longer a story anymore, Cody's going to be either, like, in prison in a foster care system, like, hopefully healthy, or he's going to still be in this situation, but everybody moved on, and that... I don't know. Like, maybe the way to look at that is at least Cody gets his Philly D video. At least, like, somebody brought this to light. Like, what about the kids that are coming home every day to, like, they were, like, 15 minutes late after school and their mom, like, takes, like, a Switch and, like, beats them with it. A Switch being like a stick, by the way, like an old version. No, I just mean
not the Nintendo Switch
for the kids. Yeah, not a Nintendo Switch. Oh well, maybe they deserve it if they're late when they have a Switch. I don't know, idiot. It's an old timey term for like a stick or something to get beaten with. Like,
yeah, but there's undocumented cases that undoubtedly exist. I think it's just weird having it like broadcast in this way. Is another like wrinkle in it. It's like
they're so dumb. Like, they don't.
It's like you filmed your own incriminating evidence and are now mad that people are like perceiving it that way. It's something, but I don't know. I guess just like did I talk about how weirded out I was by the Spider-Man Elsa videos? Like, I think that's come up before.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, we've definitely talked about it.
Yeah, just
because
like,
I watched them all again recently.
Just that's a situation where like I felt like almost more because this just seems like, well, this is obviously really fucked up and wrong. Like this I don't know, there's like immediate like black and white good evil thing that seems to be going on a little bit, you know, whereas that just seemed to weird me out in that it's like this is like actually subversive in a way that I find really creepy. Like it's like using the language of like kids media to teach really shitty lessons was the part that was weirding me out, of just like, nobody's controlling this. Like, there's no PBS board making sure this episode of Sesame Street is okay. Like, it's just all bad advice, and here it is on the internet, and like, a little kid could click on a tablet and watch this colorful thing, and just their worldview, like their mushy forming mind is going to be built wrong because of this. Like, this is a bad thing. So that weirded me out in a way, like, where I was really riled up about it for, like, a day or two. But again, it faded away, and then I was like, oh, that's fucked up, man. It's fucked up.
Sure. Yeah.
Like, I didn't, phone Disney or anything, or, like, hey, guys, there's some crazy uses of your copyright going on. You really need to stop this from happening. Like, I just didn't...
Trust me, if it's Disney, they know about it. They probably can't do anything about it.
I
Disney's,
guess.
Like, pretty on that.
I would think, right? Like, their lawyers should know.
They are.
But...
They're on it. They instantly mute my VODs anytime I play a Disney song.
Okay. But there's like bots for that. I play a
Disney song when I want to say like terrible shit. So
would they just parse out like, this man's wearing a Spider-Man costume, this isn't okay? Or is that fair use? Because it's just like, whatever.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But it's like,
those videos you're talking about are, though.
Yeah,
they know about it.
I guess, but it just seems weird that it's like it's able to like repurpose the lovable characters kids already like, but not for approved Disney messages for them. But that's freedom of speech, I guess. Like, it's just, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess
that was something that got in my craw a little bit. Like, I was like, these possibilities are really scary to me because they're like large scale. So whereas this is like a super microscopic, like you see like Cody's being warped right now, this is like, I don't know what's happening right now because millions of kids are watching this. What are they doing with that information?
You got a point.
Like, that was one where I felt more like my nieces and nephews and younger cousins might actually have fallen prey to this. Like, are they watching this and not having anyone to talk to about how weird this video is or whatever. Like, they're just like, all right, I didn't really like that episode, but maybe this one will be better, and click on it. Like, I don't know. It's like if you saw something really weirdly creepy when you're a kid, and you don't want to tell an adult because maybe you feel like you shouldn't have watched it, so you're a little like, I don't want to get in trouble. I don't know.
Okay, what did you watch? I need to know.
No, like, it's like when you like, oh man, I was recording Tintin episodes on this tape, and True Lies is on here. I'm going to watch this. It's an R-rated movie.
Oh.
I'm like 7. Yeah. I'm not supposed to watch this, but this car chase is great. Or whatever. Like, that happened, but this is so much, like, weirder, because there's no, like, rating system for, like, is there kind of, like, there's YouTube Mature?
Did this actually happen?
The True Lies thing did, yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool. Okay.
Yeah. It's just a violent Schwarzenegger movie, like, maybe that warped, like, me thinking violence is really funny in a way that it shouldn't be sometimes.
Did you have that Home Alone moment where, like, he watches that gangster movie, and then, like, after the killing happens, he's like, Mom!
No, I think I just thought it was cool. I don't know. Okay. Like, it was mostly
probably the actual reaction.
I taped over most of the movie, so it was really just, like, the car chase on that giant bridge, and then, like, the Harrier jet shooting everybody, like, in that building. So it was, like, the last half hour of True Lies I watched a bunch, and just thought it was dope. And I still think it's okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty good. Yeah, it's fine.
But there's nothing super subversive, really. It's just, it's super, like, silly action movie. Like, it oversimplifies the Middle East conflict for entertainment, but whatever. That's not what I'm
But just
looking
barely.
for. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Jamie Lee Curtis drops that Uzi. Anyway. I don't have a solution for that either.
Happier topic?
Sure. I think we need one.
I don't feel okay.
Like child abuse and freaky videos and, you know, serial killers. Yeah. What else we got in the...
Okay.
Let's set aside the hot topic pocket.
Yeah. So this week's hot pocket topic brought to you by child abuse.
Yay.
There you go.
Yeah.
So I've been looking for a long time a place that I can stream adult content, because it's banned on Twitch. And on YouTube, you can't upload adult content in video games without, like, putting a little, like, censor bar on the boobies or something. Like,
okay.
This is just not a thing.
Like, do
Long
some
story
of the...
short,
yeah.
I've been talking with YouPorn, a Pornhub affiliate, and I might be doing stuff on their site.
Like hentai games or something? Or what? The thing is that,
like, as these talks have been going on, it was basically just the idea of, like, I have some visual novels that I think are dumb and, like, want to play, and I know there's going to be a scene where there's, like, a scantily clad lady, and, like, there's going to be a quote-unquote sex scene because it's a visual novel, and I can't really play it anywhere. And now that, like, I'm in talks with, like, actual porn sites of, like, yeah, you can host your videos here and stuff, I'm thinking of what terrible porn video games I could play. So I was actually thinking, and, like, this, I don't know how much I want to say about what I've been thinking about this, but I kind of want to get your opinion.
Okay.
I want to kind of do a look into the, like, hentai rape games.
Okay.
Because
you know what?
I've never really understood why this is, like, a fetish for Japanese people, because there are games like Rapeplay, and
that's the main one that got so much bad press a couple years ago, but it's just like, what is this game? Well, we obviously don't want to show you this game, you perv. And it's like, okay, well, then I don't really know enough about this situation to be upset. Like, I don't know.
This is kind of it, is that I don't really want to play them because I think they're going to be sexy. I kind of want to explore this idea of, like, why...
Like, what else is going on in video games?
Like, culture is, like, making terrible rape games and, like, selling them. Like, people bought Rapeplay in these games, so...
Yeah.
I don't know, man. That sort of thing interests me, and, like, just thinking about, like, stuff like that, whereas, like, I actually have a place I could, like... If I made this like video like exploring these types of games and stuff, I actually have a place I could put it without being, like sued or like kicked off or something.
Right. Like it's like, hey, you already typed in YouPorn, so you know where you are. And hey, like want to take a look at this weird world of like Japanese underbelly video games? I get, I bet there's some latent curiosity there, and having like,
there is for me.
Host.
I was looking for that video.
Yeah, so having like a fun host to kind of distance yourself from how creepy it all is might be okay.
Yeah.
Like that might be
maybe
a fun thing to, because you know what? Even though there are a lot of comments on porn videos, and there's people conversating in there, and I don't know why, but there's a community there, so maybe they'll have some things to say.
So this is what I am dealing with in my head now, though, right? Mm-hmm. Is I've been talking to YouPorn, the senior content partner representative or whatever. He's been pretty nice dude so far. Their community manager is like a fucking sweetheart. She's like one of the nicest people I've ever talked to for like a PR, like a community site thing or whatever.
So you gotta have good humor about it, I guess. Yeah.
But YouPorn is not Pornhub. Pornhub is like the big fish, right? So in talking with YouPorn, one of the things that they're talking about is that the way they want to set up a channel, if I do it through them, is they would do this weird program thing that like manages how the fuck did they put this? Content partner program I manage is for pay site that want traffic forwarded to them. And this isn't like necessarily really a good way to go about monetizing quote unquote let's plays. Mm-hmm. Really? So this being said, what's to stop me from just uploading this stuff to Pornhub, right? So I made an account on Pornhub. I'm just trying to decide really where to go with this stuff, but
I guess in both cases, like my only concern would be like, oh, this is kind of off topic. Like maybe that would be kind of like, this isn't pornographic enough for here. Maybe.
So Pornhub has one of the biggest Minecraft Let's Play things on the internet.
Really?
Yeah. This is what I found out by like doing this research.
Like
is that there are Let's Players on
Minecraft?
Pornhub? No,
just Minecraft.
Like a lot. It seems to be like a pretty big German
community?
Minecraft scene. Yeah.
Is anything unsavory happening in these Minecraft streams? Like, why are they there? That just sounds weird.
There's some like terrible, gross Minecraft mods of like the things you would expect to be on.
I guess so. Yeah. Like, okay, there you go. Like, just so long as there's some like justification for the X-rated label, I guess. Like, why would it be there? Okay.
But like, I'm just looking it up right now because I don't like. I just kind of did all of this quote unquote research quickly. Yeah. When you type Minecraft in Pornhub, I don't want most relative. I want I don't know. Let's see top rated. Let's see what the community says is top rated for Minecraft. Minecraft 2016 top 5 Minecraft hacks, wizard hacks, 197 views. It's not great, but like
it's there.
That's yeah. I think that's for this month too. Let's go most relevant maybe. Let's do that. Mm-hmm. Roleplay Minecraft Comic Slideshow Edition, 135,000 views. Minecraft porn comic, we're not going to count that because it's not actual gameplay stuff.
Right.
Minecraft. Right. Alex getting her pussy filled with cum. 305,118 views.
See, that doesn't sound like Minecraft though.
But it is.
Oh, okay.
Well, kind
See, now I'm like,
it's like a Minecraft character.
I'm gonna goose like views for this, or like first 9 minutes are porn, and it's like, hey, now that you're done, here porn videos, like or like porn video games.
No, here we go. Minecraft Sky Wars Let's Play Episode 1, 187,592 views, 77% thumbs up.
Okay, so the community didn't vote it down.
Yeah.
It's like, this isn't what I'm here for. Boo.
And, like, then the comments, there are people that are like, I'm so hard from this, oh my god, and whatever. But then we have, like, Johnny Dumpface in the comments for this says, I love Minecraft, but my PC don't have enough RAM to run it good. And then Zombie Man says, is this where I can get the dankest Minecraft mods? Minecraft Wizard says, okay, guys, I really need to know how to farm some pigs.
All right, so there's Minecraft conversations happening, and
Steve from MC literally just says, "I dig this."
Okay, remember Dig?
So, yeah. I do.
Anyway,
Dig still exists, by the way, because they send me a spam email every day.
Oh wow, okay.
That I have to delete. Yeah, it's fucking annoying. There are Let's Players already on Pornhub.
Okay, so you wouldn't be the pioneer, but you could get in on this interesting scene. Okay.
They're kind of shitty, though. I don't think they're playing... This is the difference I want to present to the court here, I guess, which would be you, is that they're doing Let's Plays on Pornhub.
Yeah.
I want to do actual adult-oriented content around video games that doesn't get
on a site that is okay with that. So that makes more sense. That seems to have a bit more of a synergistic quality.
Why would I want to be on Pornhub over YouTube?
No,
YouTube actually has people being able to find me.
I just prefer their video player. I just like the yellow and black aesthetic. It's just nice.
Yeah.
Okay. I just like the horrifying ads on the side. Like they're 12 times more extreme than anything I was doing.
So this is another reason why the whole... So, okay, to sum this all up, Pornhub would be completely... Like, I just made an account as a free user, and I'm uploading stuff, and, like, this is the Wild West.
Okay.
YouPorn is more like, I have official site backing.
That's kind of neat. Like,
stuff.
You know.
Yeah, right? So this is the problem I'm having.
I wouldn't necessarily shirk that, and YouPorn has some big numbers as well. I don't know how they stack up
They have
exactly.
Horrifying ads.
They do
that Pornhub doesn't, though. They have some pretty bad ads, and I think they're much smuttier. They're like the
hustler
old Asian. They're the Asian like corner store like porn magazine for $5 as opposed to like the Playboy.
Okay,
like,
so
they're
Pornhub
kind of
keeps
raunchy.
It classy, bow ties and such. But yeah, okay.
And here's another thing about YouPorn. There's only one other official gameplay partner that started before me. I would be one of the first on YouPorn.
I think that's the way to go.
But it's the smaller pool.
But you get to be a bigger fish relative to the rest of them.
But this is kind of the thing, is that I don't really want to be, because then there's no room for growth if you're the biggest fish in the pool.
Okay. Like, do you have to be exclusive to one or the other, or how does it?
That's a good question, because YouPorn is part of the Pornhub network. So probably not.
There you go. It's like an affiliate. That makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. It's weird. I just thought it was a weird topic because
that's
this is
definitely
something I've been thinking about for a while. And I'm actually, like, in contact with people for it.
See, that is not a question any of the straight-laced video game podcasts I listen to have looked into at all. So, it's pretty distinguished in that way. So, yeah.
And just to end this all off...
distinctive, really. But, yeah.
The other thing with YouPorn is that I could officially tell my parents I work with YouPorn. And, like, I know it would drive them fucking crazy. Okay. I know they would, but I could have the YouPorn logo on like my layout for Twitch.
Yeah,
like check me out on YouPorn.com. Like,
there you go.
All of this
kind of fun.
It's kind of fun, right?
Yeah. I remember we had an old podcast conversation about like a friend of yours who reviewed porn, and I found that crazy too.
Yeah.
Does that still exist? Is that ongoing?
That dude still does exist. What's his name?
It's like, we're looking at the AVN award winners for this year, Like, they say best foursome, but I don't know. I like this nominee. It's pretty good. It's only 32 minutes. Yeah. What?
His name was like Dante or something. And if I remember correctly, he called his blog Dante's Inferno.
3 thumbs up.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, it makes sense, right? But I would actually like to get in touch with that guy again. I'm interested to see what he's been doing. He was kind of like a dink, though. Like, he's kind of not like a cool person to talk to.
Okay.
But, I mean, whatever.
Sense. Yeah. But okay, there you go. So stay tuned to
as a bona fide
YouPorn.
Christian.
Yeah.
As a bona fide Christian, what do you think about this?
Like former? No, I love the kind of like edgy quality on that front, I guess. Like freaking the establishment or whatever to some extent.
I was kind of thinking about like how I could do like remember every now and then we would get a little rowdy and it would be called like Pixel Response After Dark or something.
Yeah.
Like I was thinking about actually just like talking, like maybe contacting some of these like amateur porn actresses up that are like trying to make it or whatever, and just like doing a small like podcast interview thing that I could put up as well for content.
Okay.
It's weird, right?
It's a little weird. I don't know.
It's a little weird, but they're cam whores. They whore themselves out. They want to talk
attention, yeah.
They want to talk about this shit. So, I don't know, man. I just like, honestly, the idea that I could do like a video on like rape video games and like why they're a thing, who enjoys them, like the media outcry against them here as opposed to like what people in Japan where they're generally made think of them. I think all that stuff is super interesting.
Because like you hear a lot about how bad they are, but you don't actually get to make your own decision on that. It's just Kotaku tells you so. But yeah. Okay.
Exactly.
Interesting venture.
What about you, the listener? What do you think about porn and YouPorn and all this sort of thing? You can write in at podcast@burningbarrel.co or hit me up on Twitter or talk in the Discord and stuff. We usually do, or last time I did, like a response thing, but this was kind of a last minute thing. I didn't feel like we had a lot to talk about, so.
And this was episode 150, so it was the milestone.
Yeah, there you go.
150
we
episodes.
Did it. 150 episodes. YouPorn.com/exposure for all your rape play needs.
Do you own that game?
I don't own that game. I don't actually even know how I would acquire it.
Okay, I think that's a must, though. Like, that is the number one I thought of, so...
It's actually the one. And the thing is that as I was thinking about this more, I was like, oh, dude, Twitch.tv. They gave me a list of video games I can't stream. That's my list of stuff I can play.
They provided you with the content. That's perfect. Okay.
I actually had a series I tried for a little bit on Hitbox.tv called Too Hot for Twitch, where I would play the Twitch prohibited games because Hitbox, nobody gave a fuck. Now they give a fuck because they're trying to be like an actual streaming site and competitor. But like at the time, nobody gave a fuck. So Too Hot for Twitch, and then it would be like, this is this game, and I would stream that game, but I can't do that now. Maybe it's time to bring Too Hot for Twitch back. There you go.
There you go. Stay tuned to the internet. All parts of it. Who knows?
All parts of it. Yeah. Stay classy.